Hey guys, tonight, we bundle up for something colder than your excess heart wearing a discount North Face jacket. Ice Age caveman bedtime. That's right, prehistoric humans dealing with temperatures so low, your favorite smart thermostat would just give up and self-delete. Before we plunge into the frosty nonsense, feel free to like and subscribe, but only if you actually enjoy this and aren't just here, because your insomnia has entered its villain arc. Leave a comment telling me where you're re-listening from and what temperature it is there. If you say a comfortable 72 degrees, just know the cavemen can hear you, and they were judging. Go ahead and dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan not because cavemen had fans, but because white noise is somehow the modern equivalent of emotional stability. Get comfortable. Tuck your toes in so the imaginary Ice Age hyenas don to munch them like prehistoric mozzarella sticks. Now, have you ever wondered what early humans did when it was too cold to function? Did they invent cuddle puddles before millennials made them ironic? What did they do when firewood ran out, start burning IKEA furniture prototypes? How did they handle bad breath when a dental appointment was just chewing bark? If your spouse farted during a heat-conserving snuggle pile, was this a felony or a life-saving contribution? Did they ever wake up next to a wolf and think, "We're friends now, right?" And when someone suggested, "Let's crawl inside this freshly dead giant animal for warmth," did people just nod? Fantastic, because congratulations, you've just woken up during the Ice Age. You're freezing, wearing something that smells like damp ham, and last night's dinner may or may not still be alive. Good luck. You open your eyes and realize your breath is its own weather system. Frost gathers on your eyebrows like you're trying out for Santa's understudy. Around you, the cave is a slow-motion orchestra of shivering, soft groans, and one guy probably growls, snoring like a malfunctioning mammoth. The air is so cold it feels like it's quietly nibbling on your face. Congratulations, you're awake. It is prehistoric Monday, and nothing is warm. The first thing you notice is that your limbs are not currently filing HR complaints, but they're thinking about it. Your hands are tucked into your armpits like two overworked interns. Your feet feel like someone replaced them with frozen baguettes. You stretch just enough to confirm you're still alive, and Haven had quietly turned into a caveman-shaped ice sculpture overnight. Someone next to you shifts under a mound of mismatched hides, muttering something that might be profanity or might be their grocery list. Hard to tell. You try to scoot closer, but your makeshift bedding, rough fur, probably once a proud buffalo crunches like stale cereal. If memory serves, this fur was acquired during a simple hunt that involved several sprained ankles, an existential crisis, and someone discovering they were allergic to buffalo. You sit up slowly because every muscle is stiff in a way that suggests you tried CrossFit while asleep. The cave ceiling is low. It's covered in soot stains and the occasional drawing of a mammoth, which someone insisted looked just like it. It didn't. It looks like a hairy potato on sticks. Your breath billows in the air, silent, icy proof that you have woken up in a glorified fridge. You try breathing deeply. It feels like inhaling snowflakes flavored with disappointment. The Clanness's fire is dying, reduced to a few orange flecks like nature as dying phone battery icon. And just like a phone with one tolerant, your entire group relies on it to function. You crawl toward it, hoping to feed it before the flames give up completely and leave you all to reenact what popsicles feel. On the cave floor, smoke swirls around your ankles and your toes regain sensation, which might have been a mistake because sensation hurts. Someone tries to hum a morning tune. They stop halfway, probably because their lips froze together. Let us talk about washing. Bad idea. There is no washing. There is only wiping things off with snow, which is exactly as refreshing as shoving a snowball down your shirt. Bathing is a seasonal treat you enjoy when temperatures rise above instant regret. Right now, you smell like fear layered under damp wool. No one can tell because everyone smells like fear layered under damp wool. Your hair, if you can call it hair, is stiff from cold and questionable liquids, most of which you are sincerely hoping came from you, and not an animal that used your head as a pillow last night. You pull it back, or at least you try, because your hair seems to have unionized and now refuses manipulation. Once the fire has been revived mostly by whispering threats and blowing until you're lightheaded, you gather your furs. They're just as cold as everything else, but at least they trick your brain into a false sense of comfort. You wrap yourself in them like an off-brand burrito. Stepping toward the cave entrance, your feet crunch on frost. The world outside glows faintly pink, the sun rising like it has nowhere better to be. The air greets you with the same warmth your middle school gym teacher had. 0. You breathe in, and it feels like your nostrils got super glued. You peek outside. Snow covers everything like a cheap decoration that went too far. Icicles hang from rocks like nature's fangs. In the distance, a mammoth waddles with the confidence of a creature wrapped in its own pillow-top mattress. Your job this morning? Survive. Maybe find food. Maybe not die. The bar is low. You consider crawling back into the fur pile, but Grohl is already there, hogging warmth like a cryptid hoarding treasure. Typical. So instead, you pull your furs tight and trudge forward. Every step is a crunch. Every crunch is a reminder that this isn't a cozy ski trip, this is life, and the slopes are trying to kill you. Still, there's beauty here, faint icy beauty. The snow sparkles. The sky is soft. Wolves quietly observe you from a distance, calculating if you look like breakfast. You smile at them. They didn't smile back. You decide to take that personally. You move on, knowing your day will be filled with hunting, gathering, and aggressively not freezing. But you also know that tonight you'll crawl back into that cold cave, shove your way into the communal snuggle heap, and pray no one's feet touch your spine. Because here, in the Ice Age, waking up is already survival. And somehow you're getting pretty good at it. Before coffee, before emails, before pretending to enjoy yoga, there was fire. It flickers at the center of your world, equal parts heat source, kitchen appliance, nightlight, and emotional support animal. Last night it was roaring. Now it's a sulking like a teenager who got told to clean their room. The embers glow a faint, irritated orange alive, but barely. You stare at them with the kind of desperation usually reserved for waiting on a slow microwave. If this tiny sputtering miracle dies, so do you. No pressure. You shuffle forward, knees cracking like old tree branches, and blow on the coals. The smoke halos your face, which is spiritual for about 2 seconds, before it makes you cough like a Victorian poet with lung problems. You hold out your hands to the faint warmth, because this is the closest thing your era has to a morning latte. Everyone else huddles around you, slowly defrosting like prehistoric hot pockets. Let us talk about morning routine. Spoiler, it's chaos with frostbite. There is no casual stretching, no guided meditation, no 300 athleisure. You wake up cold, hungry, and vaguely furious at the atmosphere. So you coax fire back to life with twigs you've collected, dried grass you've hoarded like a feral hamster, and occasionally your hopes and dreams. Sparks crackle like tiny promises, and with enough blowing, muttering and cursing, the flames yawn awake. The warmth touches your face and you sigh the universal thank something for this heat sigh shared by every human who has ever lived without central heating. You hold your palms close enough to feel their skins tingle, but not close enough to ignite. Lesson learned from last time. Grohl still has a bald patch where his hand fur used to be. He wears it like a trophy. Everyone else calls it what it is. A moment of spectacular stupidity. Fire is everything. Your heat, your light, your kitchen, your nightlife, your survival. It keeps hyenas away, melts the snow you drink, chars the questionable meat you pretend is delicious, and makes the darkness less terrifying. It even helps you feel slightly less like a mammoth popsicle. Let's talk about breakfast. Bad idea. Someone sticks a chunk of something, probably animal, possibly a rock, onto the flame. It sizzles in a way that suggests edible, but could also mean about to ruin your week. Caveman cooking is more art than science, and by art, I mean guessing until nobody dies. There is no salt, no thyme, no rosemary, just vibes and smoke. The meat chars while you warm your knees. The smell is not bad, actually, smoky, earthy, slightly alarming. You bite in. It is chewy, but everything is chewy. You keep gnawing, telling yourself it's fine, because your only other option is hunger. Modern people talk about paleo diets. You are in the paleo diet, and you hate it. The clan sits close, forming a semicircle of wild hair, droopy furs, and puffy morning faces. Someone tosses more wood on the fire, precious, splintering, hard-earned wood that costs hours of gathering. The flame crackles loudly. This sound is better than music, better than cable, better than therapy. It tells you you'll make it to lunchtime. Outside the cave, winter screams. The wind roars like a hungry creature slamming its head into the mountains. You don't look out yet. You stay close to the fire, rubbing warmth into your fingers, your palms, your soul. Fire is your only luxury. If online shopping existed, you'd buy more of it. Occasionally a spark lands on your fur cloak. You smack it reflexively. Nobody wants to be the one who burned down the cave. There is no insurance, no fire department. If a spark jumps into a pile of dried grass, congratulations. You've invented a funeral. Let us talk about temperature. Your surroundings are colder than your excess text replies. The ground is stone. The air is ice. Your bones feel like they are vibrating from the chill. The fire is the only thing reminding you that warmth is real and not just a rumor. If you walk away even a few steps, you immediately regret your choices. You stick close, hovering like someone who pretends they are about to leave a party, but keeps refilling their drink. Eventually you roll new stones near the fire to charge them for the night ahead, prehistoric hot water bottles. You tie them with scraps of hide so you don't scorch your precious body parts. Then you tuck a couple aside for bedtime and pray no one steals them later. Rock theft is a serious issue, and yes, you have fought people over warm stones. You would do it again. Groll feeds the fire a piece of bone covered in fat. It catches. The flames flare beautifully. The smell is aggressive, like someone deep-fried a shoe. But it keeps burning, and everyone cheers quietly, because you don't want to waste breath. You sit back, finally warm enough to think. The fire snaps. The clan murmurs, and for a moment it feels almost peaceful. Outside the cave, the world is trying to kill you, but in here, wrapped in smoky warmth, you almost feel lucky. Almost. You slip into your coat, which was very recently a large, angry animal. It is warm, drapes over your shoulders like you're about to host a prehistoric runway show, and smells vaguely like wet socks stuffed with beef jerky. In the Ice Age, fashion is less seasonal trend report and more please don de let my torso freeze off. Still, you can't help but admire the way the fur hangs lopsided, crunchy, and still featuring a few uncomfortably personal tufts that remind you it once had opinions and teeth. There are no mirrors in this era, which is probably for the best. If you could see yourself right now, you'd realize you look like the world's first sentient bath mat, but in the dim cave light, with smoky sunlight filtering across your pelts, you allow yourself a moment of pride. You're as basically a celebrity in this prehistoric couture. Nobody else has a coat that still features the animal's emotional essence. Let's talk about sizing. Bad idea. Clothes don't come in small, medium, large. They come in whatever size the critter you hunted happened to be. If you're lucky, you get a relatively proportional buffalo pelt. If you're unlucky, you get a cape made from a rodent that barely covers your shoulders, leaving your backside exposed to the harsh wind and harsher social judgments. If nature was a tailor, she'd be fired. You wrap a leather tie around your waist. The original belt less about structure, more about preventing your fur from flapping open like a malfunctioning bathrobe. The knot is clumsy but effective, like most prehistoric engineering. You run your fingers through the fur, dislodging a small colony of fleas. They scatter, offended that you dared interrupt their morning meeting. Let us talk hygiene. Worse idea. Fur garments are not washable. Once they smell bad, and they always smell bad, that scent becomes part of the clan-esque cultural identity. You don't clean hides. You air them out by holding them near fire until they either improve or catch on fire. Usually it is somewhere in between. The smoke gives them character, like whiskey. Except smoky mammoth isn't a drink, it's your shirt. Occasionally someone suggests scraping hides to remove old flesh. This is a chore so unpleasant it makes taxes look fun. You spend hours rubbing bone tools against the underside of your pelts while inhaling aromas that would make a skunk gag. When you are finished, you swear you'll never do it again. You absolutely will, because the alternative is wearing a coat that smells like expired wolf. Let us talk accessorizing. Also bad. Claws, teeth, and bones become decorative. You stick them into your clothing to show you are brave, competent, and occasionally still alive. It is the Ice Age equivalent of designer labels. Wearing 3 saber-toothed teeth means you're a hunter. Wearing 20 means you're a survivor or a thief. If someone wears an entire saber-toothed skull, don't ask questions. Just give them your berries. There is a strange kind of social hierarchy here. The bigger and fluffier your fur, the more impressed people are. Mammoth fur? Iconic. Woolly rhinoceros hide? Avant-garde. An entire cave bear pelt? That is front row at Paris Fashion Week energy. But the real flex, wearing a wolf pelt while raising wolves in your home, it is confident, it's unhinged, it's Ice Age chic. Every day you put on this pelt and pretend it fits. The armholes are uneven, the collar keeps slipping, and a mysterious draft creeps up your back. You keep adjusting it like a celebrity forced to walk the red carpet in a dress that's one sneeze away from catastrophic exposure. But no one laughs, because they're too busy battling their own wardrobe fiascos. Everybody looks equally terrible. It's liberating. Sometimes the fur still behaves as if it remembers being alive. It sheds aggressively, leaving fluff everywhere. You emerge from the cave looking like you're shedding too. A fierce gust of wind gives you a new hairstyle that can only be described as electrocuted yak. Fashion is pain. Let S talk footwear. You shove your feet into bundles of fur and sinew. There is no left or right. There is only whichever one doesn't feel immediately awful. These feel awful. Your toes clump together like 5 roommates sharing a studio apartment. Your shoes soak up snow like sponges. They were squishy. They were terrible. They were the best you have. Despite the misery, you're grateful. This fur keeps you alive. Wrapped in this creature's warmth, you survive blizzards that would snap a modern space heater in half. Every hair is a reminder of the dangerous world outside where the cold is always hungry. And so are the animals wearing better natural insulation than you ever will. You tug your pelt tighter. You square your shoulders. You're ready to face the day, drenched in musk and fleas. Because Ice Age fashion isn't about looking good, it's about looking alive. And honey, today, you nailed it. breakfast is whatever you can gnaw before your teeth commit secession. There's no brunch menu, no smoothie bowls, no oat milk latte. Your morning culinary adventure begins with something that looks like a potato, feels like a rock, and might actually be both. You chew slowly, partly to savour the faint hint of flavour, mostly because your jaw hasn't warmed up yet and threatens to file a union complaint. Around you, the clan is already snacking. Someone is biting into a root that could double as building material. Another is chewing dried meat so tough it might outlast civilization. Everyone eats with the grim focus of people who know their meal is less about enjoyment and more about not dying before noon. Let us talk ingredients. Bad idea. Ice Age cuisine is simple. Something that once grew. Something that once moved. Something you found and sincerely hope is category 1 or 2. You rummage through your food stash, a hopeful arrangement of questionable roots, berries that may not be berries, and a strip of meat that crackles ominously. Today feels like a mystery meat morning. You sniff it. It smells like smoke and chaos. That is usually a good sign. You warm it over the fire because, in this era, cooking largely means wave it near heat until you are less afraid. The sizzling sound is deeply satisfying. The smell is fine, a little burnt, a little funky. You nibble. The texture is leathery, like someone marinated a sandal. Still, you chew, feeling the faint rush of calories reactivating your brain like a dusty generator sputtering back to life. And then there's the occasional berry. Some are sweet, some are bitter, some make you hallucinate conversations with mammoths. It's a gamble, but it beats starving. Let's talk about surprise ingredients. Sometimes, during your meal, you find a bone shard. Sometimes it's a bit of fur. Sometimes you find movement. If something wriggles, you fling it away and pretend it never happened. Everyone else pretends too. Denial is an important food group. You've heard rumours of a family 3 caves over who boils their food. Boils? Can you imagine that kind of luxury? Hot water used for something besides Don T dye? The gossip spreads like wildfire. You dream of boiling something one day, maybe roots, maybe meat, maybe your enemies, but for now, you gnaw. Let us talk portion sizes. Breakfast is tiny because food is precious and winter is always watching, waiting to ruin your plans. If you're lucky, you get enough to not feel faint when you stand up. If you're unlucky, you just manifest abundance and hope it works. It doesn't. Sometimes the hunters bring back something exciting like mammoth. That's a feast. The whole clan gathers to roast giant slabs of meat while bragging about the hunt. You pretend to be impressed, even though you know half of them just shouted woo from a distance. Mammoth meat is the Ice Age version of winning the lottery. It is rich, filling, and lasts a while if you smoke it properly. The downside? It tastes faintly like grass plus gym sock. But you did never admit that. Pride has calories too. Let S talk table manners. There are none. Breakfast is fast, messy, and communal. People bite with their hands, tear with their teeth, and occasionally grunt approval. If you want extra, you grab it before someone else does. Sharing exists, but so does hoarding. You keep a secret stash behind a rock roots and meat wrapped in hide. You guard it like a dragon protecting its hoarded treasure of slightly past expiration jerky. Every bite reminds you just how sensitive your teeth are to the cold. It feels like Mother Nature is tapping tiny hammers into your molars. You chew slower. You chew with intention. You chew because you are alive, and staying alive is the only Michelin star you'll ever earn. Let us talk about mornings gone wrong. Sometimes the meat is off. You don't know why. Maybe it was too old. Maybe it thawed and refroze 10 times. Maybe it was always bad. You make a face, spit it out, and decide roots are safer. Then you realize the root is bitter enough to make your vision wobble. You eat it anyway, because the alternative is your stomach growling loud enough to attract a predator. Take a final bite and lick your fingers, because every calorie counts. The fire pops, smoke rises, your breath fogs. You feel mostly satisfied, not full but no longer desperate. That is breakfast. It wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was fuel. You pack up a few leftover scraps, tucking them into a hide pouch that smells like a crime scene. You'll nibble them later, possibly regret it, and then do it all again tomorrow. Because here, in the Ice Age, the only question is, did you eat enough to try again today? If yes, congratulations. Now go survive until lunch. Your cave home has all the amenities. Stone walls, leaky ceiling, and acoustics perfect for existential screaming. It's the Ice Age's answer to open concept living, except the architect was gravity, and the contractor was whoever didn't die during flooring installation. You awaken each day surrounded by rocks, soot, and a faint lingering smell that suggests someone once tried to cook a porcupine indoors and lost the battle. The first thing you notice about your living space is that it looks exactly like every other cave on the street. Assuming street is the polite term for this random cliffside, interior design here is minimalist, because everything weighs 200 pounds and nobody wants to move it. Your furniture is rocks. Your bed is rocks with a pelt. Your dresser is the floor. Marie Kondo would take one look and quit her job. Let us talk about layout. Bad idea. Your cave lacks corners. Everything blends into everything. You try to define your bedroom by arranging a circle of stones, but someone steals them for fire pit repairs. Privacy doesn't exist. You share your living space with 12 people, 3 semi-feral dogs still thinking about biting you, and a suspicious bone pile that nobody admits to owning. The cave walls are decorated artistically. Sort of. Someone, probably you, nobody remembers, smeared dark pigments around, creating what you lovingly call wall art, and what future scholars will describe as kindergarten buffalo with emotional issues. The drawings tell stories, hunts, storms, arguments about whose turn it is to get fire duty. Handprints pepper the walls like ancient selfies. You detag friends, but tagging requires literacy, and well no. Let S talk lighting. Your lighting options are fire the sun if it feels like it. Most nights, you rely on the fire pit in the center of the cave. Its glow is warm, flickering, and guaranteed to smoke up the room like someone tried to host an indoor bonfire rave. The smoke rises toward gaps in the rock ceiling, where it gets confused and comes right back down. You cough. Everyone coughs. It's like a shared ritual that burns your eyes but also your heart. Mostly your eyes. During the day, sunlight streams in through the cave mouth with the enthusiasm of a toddler waking you up at 4 a.m. You've tried hanging hides to block drafts, but they mostly just flap, threatening to slap you across the face when the wind hollers. It is a design choice you call aggressive rustic. Let us talk insulation. There is none. The walls are cold. The floor is cold. The air is cold. Your soul is cold. Everything freezes unless you're hugging the fire, the dog, or someone who smells like they once slept inside a dead animal. Because they did. You stuff gaps in the cave wall with fur scraps and moss, inventing insulation that works half as well as a modern scarf. The wind still sneaks in anyway, laughing like it pays rent. You divide the cave into areas, though the definitions are loose. Kitchen is where the fire sits, dining room is where you drop your food, bedroom is wherever you collapse, bathroom is carefully negotiated. You try to keep it outside, but during storms, nature calls inside. It's a bonding activity. Nobody speaks of it. Let us talk pests. Bugs and rodents come free with every cave. Some are snacks, some steal snacks. Either way, you tolerate them. Occasionally, a curious wolf wanders inside, sniffing around like a hairy landlord. If it looks friendly, you toss it a scrap. Congratulations, you've accidentally started the domestication process. Again, larger predators rarely follow you in except when they do. More than once, someone has woken up to a cave bear poking around the entrance. You pull your hides over your face and pretend you're a part of the decor. The bear leaves. Usually, the emotional trauma stays forever. Let us talk storage. There isn't any. Everything you own sits in a pile. If you want something, you dig for it like you're looking for a rogue sock in a laundry basket. Except instead of socks, you find bones, rocks, or a shriveled piece of meat from last season. You keep it. You might need it. Sometimes you organize by putting bones in one pile, pelts in another, and tools somewhere specific, but then someone moves them, and your system dies. Minimalism wins again. At night, the cave becomes your cozy sanctuary if your definition of cozy is damp echo chamber, where danger lurks in every shadow. You huddle together, listening to the wind scream outside like a banshee who missed her therapy appointment. The fire pops. Someone snores. Someone else whispers that they saw eyes glowing at the cave mouth. Everyone pretends they didn't hear. Let S talk amenities. Your cave has shelter from storms, a built-in sound system, echoes, a temperature setting of hypothermia, free wildlife entertainment, an HOA composed of wolves. Your cave does not have plumbing doors, walls that aren't trying to kill you. Despite everything, this is home. It is where you sleep, eat, laugh, argue, and plot tomorrow's survival. It is where you tell stories, paint your victories, and complain about mice stealing your berries. It's imperfect, but it keeps the outside world outside. Mostly. And in the quiet moments when the fire glows warm, when the wolves are calm, when everyone's breathing sinks into a peaceful rhythm, you look around this cold, smoky cavern and think, yeah, it'll do. At least until a bigger cave opens up. When temperatures drop, the clan gathers around the warm remains of a very unlucky creature. It's like a sleepover, only instead of plush blankets and scented candles, you've got a still steamy mammoth belly acting as the world's most questionable heated mattress. The smell is intense. Imagine a fondue gone morally wrong. But honestly, at 30 degrees below nope, you stop being picky. Warm is warm. You inch closer to the carcass, let S call him Gerald, and feel radiant heat coming off his massive ribs. Gerald was alive just an hour ago, cheerfully stomping through the snow, minding his woolly business. Now he is providing premium-grade thermal comfort to half your clan. You place a hand on his side. It is still soft and faintly pulsing with leftover life heat. You whisper a reverent thanks, buddy, because even though you didn't personally kill him, you're absolutely benefiting from this arrangement. Let us talk about mood. Uncomfortably cozy. You lie down beside Gerald like you're booking a massage table designed by a serial hunter. The fur underneath is thick, spongy, and suspiciously damp, like sleeping on a waterbed filled with soup. But the heat is glorious. It creeps into your bones, prying apart the icy fingers that gripped your joints all day. Your shivering slows. Your teeth stop chattering. You relax, aware that on some spiritual level this is wrong, but also deeply right. The clan spreads out like starfish, each person claiming a patch of warm hide. Someone pokes a bone to see if it still wiggles. It does. Nobody comments. We don't acknowledge the wiggle. We just cuddle. Let's talk about sleeping inside one of these animals. Worse idea, yet strangely genius. Sometimes, when temperatures plunge into actively cruel, the clan goes full tauntaun. Slice open a large animal, climb inside, shut the meat doors, and enjoy an evening of uncomfortable but life-saving sauna. It's not glamorous. The interior is slippery, smells like a butcher shop located inside a gym locker, and occasionally leaks mysterious fluids. But compared to the outdoors, it's paradise. You wedge yourself inside the carcass like you're slipping into a damp sleeping bag. The warmth envelops you moist, yes, but soothing. Someone calls out from inside his own meaty cocoon. Is your side squishy? You answer, define squishy. He says nothing back. You assume it is fine. Let us talk maintenance. Gerald wants to stay warm forever. His heat is on a timer, like a natural hotel amenity that abruptly expires. After a few hours, the temperature drops, the smell intensifies, and someone inevitably announces, time to flip. And so, in a ritual so undignified future historians will deny it happened, everybody rolls the carcass to expose the side that was pressed into the snow. The cold side becomes the new warm side. Genius. Disgusting. Effective. Then there's the issue of who gets the warmest spots. This is high politics. Elders get first claim respect plus experience. Nursing parents and babies go next. Then it is a chaotic free-for-all, where everyone tries to wedge closer to that prime belly zone. You jockey for position like people fighting over front row seats at a clearance sale, but instead of sweaters, you're trying not to lose your toes. Let S talk side effects. Sleeping next to a carcass means waking up with smells you never wanted to experience. Your hair sticks together. Your furs smell like meat perfume. And sometimes, if the digestive system releases gases, you silently pretend it was someone else. Everyone pretends. It's easier that way. There are psychological side effects too. Occasionally you dream that the mammoth is still alive and whispering secrets. Don to eat the purple berries, it says. You wake up and take this as prophecy. You spread the word. That's how religions start. Let's talk predator safety. Sleeping with a carcass nearby is like camping with free snacks taped to your tent. Predators smell dinner and you. But fire helps, so you position the carcass near the flames and hope everyone smells like smoke instead of buffet. Wolves approach. They sniff. They give a weird nod like respect and curl up next to you. You are not sure if they are family, employees, or waiting for you to die. But they're warm, so you accept the ambiguity. Let's talk modern comparisons. Imagine your most desperate winter night. You're freezing, your heater dies, and you'd do anything for warmth. Now remove electricity, houses, blankets, and your last shred of dignity. Would you cuddle Gerald? Yes, you absolutely would. You'd cling to him like a space heater that occasionally drips. This is survival. This is creativity. This is Don T. Judge Me. It is cold. And when the night ends and Gerald cools from functional to food stage, the clan sits up, stretches, and begins butchering him for the feast. Nothing is wasted, meat becomes dinner, fur becomes clothing, bones become tools, and his story becomes legend. But you remember him differently. To you, Gerald wasn't just a mammoth. Gerald was a blanket, a gross, slightly leaky, unforgettable blanket. You whisper, "Rest well, king," and step into the frozen dawn, just a little warmer. Body heat snuggling is mandatory. There are rules. No cold feet, no hogging pelts, and yes, that fart was technically an act of charity. In the Ice Age, personal space is a theoretical luxury like beachfront property in Ohio. When darkness falls and temperatures plummet, you and your clan transform into a human lasagna. Layered, compressed, and desperately hoping no one had questionable berries for dinner. You settle into the pile, someone's elbow in your ribs, someone else's hair in your face, and accept that dignity froze to death months ago. Warmth is the only currency, and whoever brings it is king. If you run at 98.6 degrees, you're a hot commodity. If you run cold, you're still welcome, but you'll be strategically placed toward the edge like a sad, lukewarm breadstick. Let us talk positioning. The politics rival a modern reality show. Every communal snuggle begins the same. You cautiously slide into the pile. You find your spot. You pray no one has lice. They do. The warmest, fluffiest person goes in the middle. This is the premium core. Children also go there because they're small, noisy and fragile, like organic alarm clocks. If you're new to the clan, you get edge duty. You haven't earned the right to prime heat real estate yet. It is like seating at a wedding if you're far from the fire. You're not important. Let's talk feet. Cold feet are weapons. If you jab your frosty toes into someone's kidney, you issue a formal apology by scooting closer and contributing body heat. If they forgive you, the pile continues. If not, you are exiled to edge position, where you question your life decisions until morning. Some people tuck their feet under warm thighs like mischievous ferrets. Others hover them near the fireside of the pile. Everyone knows to keep their feet wrapped, because nothing ruins the mood like being speared by an icicle disguised as a heel. Let's talk pelts. Fur blankets are community property, but that doesn't mean you can hoard them. If someone catches you sneaking more than your allotted cowhide, you'll be nudged by 3 elbows and an elder will grunt something that means, share, heathen. Pelts are rotated. One night you get mammoth, the next you get beaver, the next you get mystery. You don't ask. Let's talk sounds. Snuggling is quiet business mostly. There is snoring, wheezing, and the occasional sleep grunting, which is how prehistoric people say I am comfortable. If someone releases a gaseous offering into the pile, you don't react. A fart is heat. Heat is life. That is charity. You silently thank the donor and continue sleeping, tears in your eyes for reasons you distrust. Let us talk introductions. If you join a new clan, you'll eventually face the snuggle pile initiation. The elder nods, gestures, and without ceremony you're shoved between 2 strangers who smell like smoked goat. You freeze emotionally and literally until someone tucks a pelt around you. Suddenly you belong. Warmth is the handshake. Let's talk safety. The pile protects everyone. Predators sense numbers and warmth. A unified pile confuses them. If something growls outside, you tighten your formation, press closer, and pray. Wolves occasionally join the pile. They settle near the edge, suspicious and sleepy. If they don't bite, they get invited back. If they do bite, someone bonks them gently with a stick, and the matter is considered resolved. Let's talk romance. Romance in the pile is subtle because nothing kills the mood like 12 witnesses. If you like someone, you try to snuggle near them without making it weird. You share a pelt. You let them stick freezing toes under your thigh. You whisper something romantic like your warmth is acceptable. If they respond with a grunt and lean in, you are basically engaged. Let us talk temperature. Despite all this warmth, the cave is still freezing. Condensed breath hangs like ghosts over your heads. Occasionally someone sticks their hand out of the pile to adjust a pelt and immediately regrets it. Cold air slaps them. They retract, traumatized, and rethink every choice they've made since evolving thumbs. Let us talk dreams. In the pile, dreams get strange. You see mammoths dancing. You hear wolves singing. You dream of heated floors. When morning comes, you wake sticky, smelly, and sore but alive. You peel yourself from the group, skin suctioning off pelts like a damp sticker. Everyone pretends they slept peacefully. No one did. Let's talk modern comparisons. Think of it like a family sleepover where everyone forgot their pajamas, the heating broke, the dog is too close, and someone keeps making helpful smells. Now multiply by 20 degrees of frostbite and the risk of predators. That's your night. In the end, snuggling is survival. It's weird. It's uncomfortable. It's intimate in all the wrong ways. But without it, you'd be an ice cube with opinions, so you embrace the awkward limbs, the shared pelts, the generosity of warm farts, and drift towards sleep grateful for every body in the pile keeping death 1 inch further away. Because here, closeness isn't optional. It's life. You heat stones in a fire, wrap them and tuck them under bedding. It is the Ice Age equivalent of preheating your mattress, except your mattress is a pile of animal skins, and your grandmother is probably busy inventing knitting by accident. These stones are smooth, heavy, and somehow always slightly judgmental, like they know how ridiculous your life is. You start by selecting the good stones, the ones that hold heat best. They were usually river stones, or at least stones you didn't just find lying in the snow like abandoned hopes. You roll them close to the fire, letting them soak up warmth while you hover nearby, rubbing your hands like a medieval barista waiting for espresso. Let us talk about timing, surprisingly important. Too short and your stones are lukewarm like a disappointing first date. Too long and they'll burn through your bedding, your thigh, and your descendants' future. When they glow with just the right hint of menace, you know they are ready. You nudge them away from the flames with a stick, then wrap them in whatever fabricish scraps you have. It might be hide, might be fur, might be that old mammoth wool rag everyone swears belonged to someone as cousin. You tuck the stones under your sleeping pile, distributing warmth like prehistoric feng shui. Each hot stone radiates heat into the night, slowly turning your frigid cave into a lukewarm cave, which is still an upgrade. You nestle beside one, feeling it radiate warmth into your side, melting the frost in your bones. You sigh deeply. It is the closest you'll ever get to a spa day. Let us talk logistics. You want several stones per bed because redundancy is life. If one cools down or rolls away mid-sleep, you don't want to wake up with a frozen kneecap. You line them like little thermal soldiers, one near your feet, one near your back, one awkwardly positioned under your elbow, and one you're not entirely sure about, but keep anyway, just in case. But the stones have a mind of their own. No matter how carefully you place them, they wander. You fall asleep, cozy and warm, only to wake up hours later with a rock pressed against your spine like a gym trainer whispering, "Pain builds character." Sometimes the stone escapes the wrappings and sears a brand new memory into your thigh. You count those as personal growth. Let S talk bed sharing. If you're snuggling with others, and you always are, stone placement becomes a negotiation. Someone always wants the hottest stone. Someone always pretends they don't care, but brings it suspiciously close to their chest. And someone, cough growl, always knocks their stone onto your side and pretends it was an accident. You glare. He shrugs. The stone remains too warm for confrontation. Let us talk safety. You're dealing with fire rocks. Fire rocks don't care about your feelings. They burn you if you're careless and give you hypothermia if you are not. Wrap them well, tuck them carefully. Don't leave them near your hair. You only make that mistake once. Occasionally, someone suggests using heated bones instead. Bones heat fast. Bones hurt more. Bones also have a disturbing tendency to pop and crack, releasing mystery juices that absolutely should not touch your skin. Stones win every time. Let us talk craftsmanship. Some families carve little hollows into wooden bowls, setting the stones inside to prevent rolling. It's adorable, like rustic hot water bottles. Others place stones inside thick hides and tie knots at the top. These caveman pot holders are passed down through generations, prized possessions that smell like 200 lifetimes of campfire. Let's talk bedtime rituals. As night settles, you retreat to your bedding, pulling furs close. You check the stones like you are tucking in children. Warm, warm, too hot, Kick it to the edge. Too cold. Roll it closer to the fire for a recharge. There is a whole choreography. Warm, rotate, Dante die. You drift asleep but lightly. You've trained yourself to wake when a rock shifts wrong. Nature provides nighttime entertainment. Outside the cave, wind screams like a dramatic soprano. Snowflakes hiss over the ground. Distant predators howl. You snuggle deeper, curling around your warm stones, feeling them shield you from the cold like tiny volcanic guardians. Let us talk modern comparison. This is the original electric blanket, no wires, no switches, just geology and desperation. It's also the original weighted blanket. Your heated stones rest on your chest like a tiny pet rock therapist, reassuring you that everything is terrible, but at least your torso is warm. And honestly, it works. It gets you through the night. It keeps your blood flowing, your mood steady, your toes attached. You wake each morning grateful not just to be alive, but to the rocks themselves. You whisper thanks. You do not kiss them. You tried that once and chipped a tooth. Let us talk legacy. One day humans will create radiators, space heaters, electric blankets and hot tubs. But for now, you've got stone. Stone is dependable. Stone is loyal. Stone will keep you warm at least until it gets bored and rolls off into the dark. You adjust your bedding, sigh, and curl up around your favorite rock. It's warm, comforting, and just slightly trying to burn you. But that's love. Ice Age style. You drift off, dreaming of a future with real blankets and mattresses, never realizing that even then, people will still complain about being cold. And somewhere deep in the cave, your stones cool quietly, waiting for tomorrow's fire. A few gutsy wolves loiter near camp. They were warm, you were cold. It's a match made in icy, awkward heaven. In the Ice Age, you don't swipe right, you just slowly shuffle closer to a predator and hope it doesn't eat you. You toss a bone, they wag something vaguely tail-like, and suddenly you've invented the world's most anxiety-ridden sleepover. At first, everyone pretends not to notice the wolves circling. You keep your eyes down, poker-faced, like you're ignoring co-workers, crowding the office snack table. You casually throw another piece of fatty meat toward them, just a little offering of goodwill. They accept, tails swishing, eyes gleaming with, "I could still destroy you" energy. The unspoken agreement forms. You feed us. We maybe don't hunt you tonight. Let's talk friendship. There's potential. These wolves recognize what you already know. Warmth is priceless. You watch, shivering, as they inch closer and closer to the fire, paws crunching on snow, noses twitching like they were judging your cooking. Someone whispers, "Don to move," but no one could anyway, frozen by cold and by the sight of a creature that might be friend or food. Eventually one wolf lies down near you. They curl up, nose tucked into tail, radiating heat like a furry little furnace. You inch closer, not enough to startle, just enough to feel blessed warmth drift onto your ankles. The wolf side-eyes you. You side-eye back. It feels like the beginning of a complicated romance. No kissing yet. Let's talk bedtime arrangements. If you're bold or desperate, you invite the wolves deeper into the snuggle pile. It's like trying to add uninvited guests to your weighted blanket. Some people grumble, some people scoot away. Your grandmother just shrugs. She's seen worse. The wolves settle in, sharing heat like tiny four-legged radiators with teeth. Sleeping next to a wolf is peaceful once you stop imagining getting your face bitten off. Their fur is thick, surprisingly soft, and smells like wet meat rolled in smoke. Frankly, same. You curl your hands into their coat, feeling warmth spread into your numb fingers. For a moment, you forget the cold. You forget the danger. You whisper, "Who's a good boy?" They don't know what that means, but they blink slowly. You take that as yes. Let us talk etiquette. If a wolf chooses you as its mattress, you've just been blessed. Don't make sudden moves, don't hog the fur, and for the love of all that is mammothy, do not fart on the wolf. A warm fart might be charity to humans, but wolves do not appreciate being weaponized. Sometimes a wolf picks a favored person and sticks with them. Maybe it's because they feed it more scraps. Maybe it's because their furs are fluffier. Maybe this wolf has taste. Suddenly this chosen human walks around the camp with swagger. Yes, that is my wolf. Yes, he sat on me. No, we are not exclusive. Cue jealousy, cue drama. Let us talk communication. The wolves don't speak your language, but they understand enough. A low growl means, back off, I am sleeping. A playful tail twitch means, your spot is my spot. You reciprocate with slow blinks universal mammal language for I mean no harm. Also, please share your warm butt energy. Over time, something wild happens. You bond. You hunt together, share food, nap in the same sun patches. The wolves warn you of predators' ears perking before humans ever detect danger. They watch the darkness, growling soft warnings, letting you know when something with too many teeth is lurking. You've gained an early warning system with a fuzzy face. Let's talk security. Having wolves around is like hiring a night watch that accepts payment in bones. Predators sniff the air, catch wolf scent and think, too much work. You sleep better knowing you have four-legged security guards who only occasionally chew your shoes. When danger creeps near, the wolves rise together silent, unified. The air shifts. You grab your spear, heart pounding, and trust your furry allies to guide you. Most nights, the enemy is just a hungry hyena. Occasionally it has a saber-toothed cat with opinions. Either way, you're grateful you have friends with sharper teeth. Let us talk awkward mornings. You wake up entwined with two clan members and a wolf who may or may not be drooling on your hair. Your legs are numb, your back aches. The wolf yawns, showing teeth that remind you who's really in charge. You gently scoot away. The wolf stretches and pads outside, tail high, looking smug and majestic. Show off. Someone asks, did it bite? No. Did you pet it? Maybe. You're now a minor legend. People treat you like someone who stared death in the face and then spooned with it. Let's talk legacy. These wolves, they change everything. Over generations, the brave ones stay, the timid ones leave, the friendliest hang around your fire, eat your scraps, protect your kids. Slowly, they become less wolf and more dog. You don't know that word yet, but you are living the origin story. One day, they'll wear sweaters, roll over on command, and help humans feel like gods of their living rooms. But for now, here in the Ice Age, they were just warm, loyal, terrifying friends who help you stay alive when everything else wants you dead. You glance at the wolf settling beside you tonight. You smile. It sneezes on your face. This is love. Well, prehistoric love. Shelters made from hide stretched over bones look like tents designed by someone with zero qualifications, and frostbite on 3 fingers. They're the architectural equivalent of a pop-up tent you bought on clearance. Wobbly, mysterious, and held together by determination and animal parts. Still, when the wind howls and the snow attacks horizontally, this wiggly lean-to starts feeling like a 5-star resort minus the minibar, the room service, and the structural integrity. You stand outside your clan's newest masterpiece, admiring, begrudgingly, the craftsmanship. The ribs of a mammoth form the frame arched and colossal, like someone rearranged dinosaur bones into a sad circus tent. The hides are draped over this skeleton in a way that suggests they were thrown rather than placed. But once you crawl inside, you realize it does the job. Mostly. If the wind blows too hard, you can feel the walls flinch. Let's talk construction. Building one of these beauties begins with a mammoth or similarly large beast, first very alive, then very not. After the hunt, equal parts strategy, screaming, and poor decision-making, the bones are hauled back to camp. This requires about 12 adults, 2 teenagers, and a moral support wolf. The bones are cleaned badly and then hammered into the ground. Nothing fits properly. Everything wiggles. You mutter prayers to the ancestors. They do not answer. Next come the hides, thick, greasy sheets of prehistoric upholstery. You stretch them over the structure like you are wrapping a holiday present with your eyes closed. You tie them with strips of sinew, pulling until your fingers numb. If the wind doesn't rip them away within the hour, you consider the project blessed. Let S talk weatherproofing. Bad idea. Waterproofing does not exist. The hides are tanned, scraped, and smoked. But when heavy snow falls, they sag like wet laundry. You reinforce with extra hides, but the shack still becomes a damp cave taco. The roof leaks, the floor leaks, the walls leak, but hey, the leaks are slower. That counts as engineering. Wind sneaks in through every seam. You plug gaps with moss, furs, and whatever small animal isn't moving too fast. The shack creaks ominously. You whisper, "Stay," like it's a nervous horse. It doesn't listen, but it does stay mostly out of spite. Let us talk aesthetics. Your shacks come in 2 varieties. Lumpy dome, lumpy triangle. That's the entire catalogue. There is no porch, no patio, no window, unless you count hole eaten by fox. Inside, hides line the walls for extra insulation. And by insulation, I mean smell. The aroma is a hearty mix of smoke, musk, and that one patch nobody cleaned properly. You sleep breathing it. You wake breathing it. You're now 40 mammoth odor. Let S talk layout. The floor is packed snow or dirt, depending how desperate the season is. You lay down spare hides as rugs. They slide around constantly, making you chase your bed like it is trying to escape. In the middle sits the fire, because nothing says interior design like open flame beneath flammable fur tent. Smoke escapes through a gap at the top, or it doesn't tea, and then everyone just lies there inhaling arson. Your bed is a pile of furs on top of more furs. Your pillow is rolled hide stuffed with grass. It's surprisingly not awful until it gets wet. Then it's awful. Let's talk capacity. These shacks fit about 4 people comfortably, 8 uncomfortably, and 16 if everyone accepts they are meat bricks being stored for winter. You cram in anyway, because heat is friendship. At night, everyone lies shoulder to shoulder, bumping elbows and avoiding the edge, where drafts nip like invisible mosquitoes with emotional issues. Let's talk maintenance. Every storm tries to murder your home. The wind punches the hides. Snow collapses the roof. Rain turns the floor to soup. You spend half your life tightening ties, rebracing bones, and muttering about moving somewhere warmer like literally anywhere else. Sometimes, you return from a hunt to find your shack has collapsed into a furry pancake. The wolves are sleeping on top of it, looking smug. You rebuild. Again, you consider screaming. Instead, you eat a handful of snow and pretend it is dessert. Let's talk neighbors. Some clans build shacks close together for warmth. It turns into a prehistoric suburb, except instead of HOA fees, you pay in pelts and awkward silence. You can hear everything through hide walls, snoring, gossip, someone complaining about how the mammoth ribs are crooked. Privacy? No. Community? Constant. Let's talk upgrades. A really fancy setup includes 2 layers of hides, extra bones for stability, a pit in the floor for heat retention, a smoke vent that occasionally works. If you walk into a shack with all 4, You are basically entering the Ritz. You remove your shoes, that is, your foot furs, and compliment the hostess' impressive rib selection. You ask if they hunted the mammoth themselves. They lie and say yes. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine camping during a blizzard, inside a tent made of meat and bones with a fire burning beside your face, while wolves stare at you like restaurant customers waiting for a table. That's everyday housing. Comfortable? No. Safe? Barely. Effective? Somehow, yes. Let us talk gratitude. Despite the leaks, smells, and frequent roof collapses, these shacks keep you and your people alive. They trap heat. They block wind. They give you a place to sleep, dream, and complain. They're your fortress against a world that would love to kill you and wear you as clothing. You curl inside your hide hut. The fire crackles. Snow hisses outside. The walls sway but hold. You breathe the warm, smoky air and think, this is terrible, but it's mine. And for now, that's enough. There's nothing like starting your day by trying to harvest a furry bus with tusks. A mammoth is basically a wool-covered freight train on legs, powered entirely by grass, rage, and seasonal depression. And somehow, you and a dozen cold, underfed humans are supposed to take one down using sticks made of slightly sharper sticks. Yes, genius. The sun creeps up over the frozen horizon like it too is tired of being here. You and the clan gather near the cave entrance. Wrapped in so many furs you look like disgruntled throw pillows. Everyone double-checks their tools, flint blades, spears, and that one guy's lucky rock, which has never done anything except look slightly rockier than usual. It's time for the briefing. There is no PowerPoint. There is just the elder pointing wildly at the tundra and grunting in various emotional timbres. You translate. We go there. There will be a mammoth. Please do not die. Everyone nods solemnly, though one person is clearly only thinking about breakfast. Let's talk preparation. To hunt a mammoth, you need 3 things: courage, teamwork, and a shocking disregard for personal safety. You smear mud on your cheeks to blend in, though nothing says camouflage like running at a giant elephant in the snow. This is ritual, tradition, and skincare. Frostbite exfoliates. The wolves tag along 2-part bodyguards, part chaos gremlins. It's not helpful, but they look cool. The trek is difficult. Snow crunches beneath your feet, the ground glinting under the early light. Your breath fogs into clouds that drift lazily behind you, like you're a vaping disappointment. Every step is slow because the wind slaps you if you move too confidently. The tundra stretches endlessly, flat and blinding, making you feel like a crumb on a white tablecloth, and then you see them. The herd moves like an earthquake wearing shag carpet. Massive bodies sway, tusks gleaming like curved ivory scythes. Their fur ripples with frost and their grunts vibrate through your bones. Up close, these things are huge, like 3-story building with emotional baggage huge. You clutch your spear and whisper, why? Let S talk strategy. You circle downwind an act of stealth that would make a modern ninja laugh. Someone throws a rock to distract the slowest mammoth. It does not notice. You try again. The second rock startles a bird. The bird screams. The mammoths look annoyed. Perfect. They begin to shift and shuffle, herding instinct kicking in. You single out a smaller one still the size of a U-Haul. Several hunters sneak behind it, while others wave spears, shouting to draw attention. This is the high-level strategy the elder grunted about. Basically, confuse it until it panics into a ditch. You would call this plan bad. The clan calls it time-tested. Let S talk adrenaline. Everything happens fast. The mammoth trumpets a thunderous, angry foghorn that screams, "Why are you like this?" Snow explodes as it charges. You sprint, dodging, hooves the size of dinner tables. Your heart beats in your ears like a dropped drum. You fling your spear, it hits something, you think. Hard to tell. Things blur. Wolves dart, nipping, distracting, hunters jab at its flanks. Eventually it stumbles, falls into the snowy ditch with a ground-shaking thud that nearly knocks you off your frozen loaf of bread feet. You grab another spear. You all do. The ending is quick, brutal, necessary. The herd lingers at a distance, mourning softly, but you're already thanking the spirit of Gerald to know. Survival is awkward like that. Let us talk celebration. The moment the danger passes, everyone collapses in relief. You laugh, cry, or both. Someone retrieves their lucky rock and kisses it. That does nothing, but hey tradition. You feel an electric mix of pride and exhaustion. You just helped bring down several £1,000 of future meals, clothing, tools, and awkward conversation starters. Let's talk butcherin'. Now comes everyone's least favourite CrossFit routine, turning a furry mountain into manageable chunks. First, you slice through the hide, thick as gilt, and steam rises into the frozen air like mammoth incense. The smell is earthy, metallic, and somehow comforting. You dig your hands in, pulling warmth into your own rigid fingers. It is gross. It is glorious. Then comes the skinning. You work knives across hide, muscle, sinew. It takes hours. The wolves hang around, licking scraps, pretending to help. Children fetch stones, elders supervise. This is community at its finest, bloody, hungry and cold. Every part has purpose. Meat is sliced and smoked for winter. Bones become shelter and tools. Fat fuels lamps. Hide becomes bedding and coats. Tusks, status symbols become art or weapons. Nothing is wasted. Mammoths give life long after death. Let's talk teamwork. This hunt wasn't a solo heroism. It was 40 limbs and 12 brains operating just well enough to not get flattened. It is basically a group project where everyone does their part, and nobody ends up sending angry emails at 2 a.m., mostly because writing hasn't been invented. But the dynamic is the same. Someone leads, someone panics, someone carries, someone takes credit. But in the end, you feast together. Let S talk feast. By sundown, the fire roars high. The first strips of meat roast in fat, popping and hissing. You sit close, letting the heat thaw your bones. The meat tastes rich, smoky, and slightly victory-flavoured. The wolves get scraps and pass out like satisfied loafs. Children gnaw ribs bigger than their bodies. Elders tell stories of hunts past. For a moment, there is warmth, there is fullness, there is peace, and you realize you hunted a mammoth, you lived. Tomorrow you'll freeze again, but tonight you are mighty. Everything green is either food or poison, possibly both. You nibble and pray. Ice Age grocery shopping is less Whole Foods with a rewards card and more blindfolded roulette with digestive consequences. There are no labels, no recipes, no kindly influencer explaining which berries won't make your kidneys file for divorce. It is all guesswork, panic, and a spiritual connection with your stomach. You head out at dawn with a tiny basket woven from regret and sinew. The snow glitters on the ground, making every leaf look dramatic and suspicious, like each plant is auditioning to be your last meal. You brush frost from a patch of greenery, squint at it like an underqualified botanist, and say the same phrase your ancestors have whispered for millennia. Probably fine. Let us talk spotting. Most plants are hiding because they do not want to be eaten. They tuck themselves under snowbanks and roots, waiting out the cold. You scrape aside snow with numb fingers, revealing leaves so wilted they resemble lettuce that's been abandoned since the last millennium. Good sign? Maybe. Bad sign? Also, maybe. Tiny tubers cling to the earth like starchy treasure. You dig them up, sniff them, and try to decide if they smell more nutritious or funeral. Some are sweet, some are acrid, some smell like feet. You put them all in the basket anyway. You are playing a numbers game, surely some of this won't murder you. Let's talk berries. Red berries could be edible, or lethal, or edible and lethal. You pluck one, turning it as your fingers. It gleams like a ruby, promising flavor, excitement, and medical emergencies. The clan has a system. If birds eat it, maybe safe. If wolves eat it, possibly safe. If nobody eats it, that's a clue but not enough to stop you from popping it into your mouth like a gladiator of brunch. You nibble a berry. You wait. 5 seconds in, no burning. 10 seconds, still alive. You swallow. Congratulations, food, or slow poison. Find out in 2:12 business hours. Let's talk elders. The wise ones insist they just know which plants are safe. Their expertise is based on several decades of trial, error, and near death. They wander the tundra humming, plucking herbs with confidence that borders on suspicious. If you ask how they know something is edible, they say things like, "It told me," then shuffle away. You wish the plants would tell you too. They do not. Let's talk warning signs. Plants that smell like almonds, bad. Plants that smell like dirt, normal. Plants that smell like pure happiness, hallucinations, incoming. Some leaves have odd colors, blue or purple, like they are trying too hard to be different. Those are the ones that make you see God, or at least a muskrat wearing pants. You once watched Grohl eat a handful of purple leaves. 5 minutes later, he started serenading a tree. 10 minutes later, he married it. By sunrise, he was divorced, and nobody talks about it. Let us talk prep. You bring your haul back to camp and lay everything out like a prehistoric charcuterie board. The clan inspects. Some poke leaves with sticks, some sniff roots dramatically. Wolves try to eat everything they are unreliable lab assistants. You start by roasting the mystery roots over the fire. Heat supposedly neutralizes bad things. Nobody knows what those bad things are, they just trust heat to fix everything. Like modern people microwaving questionable leftovers, you nibble again, gently, carefully, stupidly. Let's talk effects. If it's good, you get nutrition, warmth, and a minor mood upgrade. If it's bad, you experience the full spectrum of prehistoric medical science. Sweating, shivering, seeing colors that do not exist. Vomiting your skeleton. Friendly psychosis. If it is mostly good, you keep eating. If it is mostly bad, you feed it to that one cousin who claims he has a strong stomach. He does not. Let's talk mushrooms. Mushrooms are the universe's practical joke. Some make you stronger, some make you mellow, some make you very, very dead. They all look the same, tiny umbrellas with trust issues. You collect them because you're weak for variety. The elder sorts them into piles. Food. Not food. Eat if you want to meet your ancestors tonight. You try the food pile. You store the forbidden pile. You use the middle pile for recreational theology. Let us talk seasonal panic. Winter is cruel. Plants are scarce. You end up eating roots so stringy they floss your teeth from the inside. You boil bark, calling it broth with a straight face. You mash dried moss into paste and pretend it's a something fancy called moss dip. Everyone groans as if it is delicious because hope tastes better than honesty. Let us talk failure. Sometimes, no matter how hard you search, you return with nothing but cold hands and mild despair. You fake a smile, hand over a handful of leaves, and insist these could be good. They could also be terrible. Statistically, both. The clan tests them at dinner. A few stomach rumbles, no one dies. Success. Let us talk modern comparison. Today, You read ingredient labels, Google things, and complain when lettuce wilts after 2 days. Back then, you had 2 options. Eat plant don, eat plant one path leads to hunger. The other may lead to ghost wolves. You gamble daily, and yet let S talk resilience. Despite the stress, the guessing, the occasional involuntary vision quest, you learn. You experiment. Each season you remember more. Which roots roast well, which leaves soothe fever, which berries send you floating into the sky to gossip with stars. You become a better gatherer, a better guesser, a better survivor. Because gathering isn't just finding food. It's trusting your senses, learning the land, and occasionally admitting you have no idea what you're doing but doing it anyway. You return home, basket full, heart hopeful. You may live another day, and tonight, assuming your stomach does not wage internal war, you might even sleep. You wrap your feet in fur scraps and hope frostbite doesn't remove unnecessary toes. Pedicures are just nature. If you end a winter with fewer digits, that's not a tragedy, it's a seasonal refresh. You've never seen your feet look good. You've only seen them look present. And that's enough. You sit on a rock at dawn, whipping together footwear the same way a raccoon might fold laundry, with zero confidence and a feral optimism. The scraps come from whatever animal died most recently. Maybe reindeer, maybe wolf, maybe something you'd rather not discuss. You layer the fur around your toes, tie it in place with sinew that was, seconds ago, the connective tissue of dinner, and you call it fashion. Let S talk materials. Available options include fur. More fur, a single flap of hide that smells like soup. If you're really lucky, you have mammoth hide. Thick, warm, heavy, like strapping 2 extremely affectionate slugs to your feet. If you aren't lucky, you end up with rattier scraps that peel away from your toes the moment wind sneezes in your direction. These are called flip-flops, but only because they flop and then your toes flip off. Let S talk ergonomics. These shoes do not fit. They simply exist. Left and right? Never heard of her. You wrap, you tie, you hope. Some clans insert moss between fur layers for extra warmth. At first, it feels like walking on lumpy pillows. After an hour, everything feels damp and emotionally disappointing. Moss locks in moisture, moisture freezes, frozen moisture becomes toe cycles become toeless. This is how nature takes tiny bites of you, 1 digit at a time. Let S talk smell. Feet smell bad now. In the Ice Age, feet smell much worse. You trap those smells in animal pelts, essentially slow cooking your own odor. Over time, the stench could qualify as a weapon. Even wolves, who routinely snack on decomposing things, squint and politely scoot away. Let S talk walking. It feels like waddling on furry loaves. Every step squeaks softly, snow shrieking beneath you, fur rubbing, sinew stretching. You make the sounds of a damp burrito being stepped on repeatedly. Grace is not offered here. When you trek across the tundra, your feet become the front line of battle. Icy winds stab through seams. Snow slips in and melts. The melt refreezes and locks your toes into a cryo-prison your descendants will someday call unfortunate. Let us talk maintenance. Footwear lasts a while, a day, maybe 2, sometimes less if wolves mistake your boots for snacks. Every evening, you take off your foot creatures, hang them near the fire and pray they dry. They don tea, they steam, they soften. They begin to resemble soup dumplings. You put them back on anyway. Let's talk socks. There are no socks. If someone tells you they invented socks, look closer, they're just wearing 2 boots. Same smell, twice the trouble. Let's talk upgrades. Some genius added a layer of leather under the fur to stop sharp ice from stabbing your soles. These proto-soles are the height of luxury red carpet shoes. If the red carpet were blood and the event was Don T. Die, people compliment them by grunting approvingly and staring too long, as though mentally stealing your design. Others reinforce their boots with strips of bone. This provides traction and the constant fear of stabbing yourself while running downhill. But hey, fashion hurts. Let S talk frostbite. It happens. You go to sleep with 10 toes, wake up with an edit. No one panics. They wrap your foot, shrug and say, one less to freeze. Losing digits is basically shedding pounds. Everyone compliments your lighter step. So aerodynamic, they say. You'll never trip again. Silver linings, people. Let S talk indoor shoes. Inside the hide and bone hut, you remove your boots and pad around on furs. Your feet feel free like sad birds. You warm them near the fire until you smell singed hair. You pull away at the exact moment comfort becomes amputation risk. And consider that a successful evening. Let us talk fancy. If you're feeling glamorous, you decorate your footwear with beads made from bone, teeth, or rocks too cute to ignore. These embellishments serve no purpose. They make no one admire you. They fall off constantly. They are the prehistoric equivalent of buying sparkly sneakers only to discover no one cares. Let us talk children. Kids wear smaller fur bags that they immediately lose. They run barefoot across snow, laughing, while adults scream, "Your toes," the children shrug. Their toes stay pink because children are invincible or full of witchcraft. Let us talk modern comparison. Imagine Crocs. Now imagine Crocs made of damp mammoth, stitched poorly, coated in mud, smelling like disappointment, and prone to freezing onto your feet. That's Ice Age footwear. And still, you get excited when a new pair is finished. You parade around camp, flexing like a runway model. Someone grunts, niece feet outfits. You blush. Let's talk gratitude. No matter how ugly, smelly, or dangerous these proto-Uggs are, they're your first defense against a world designed to kill toes. They help you walk, they let you hunt, they keep you from sobbing every 3 seconds. You tuck your feet deeper into their furry prisons, wiggle your remaining toes and whisper, "Thank you, weird shoes." The shoes whisper back, "Actually, that was a vole hiding in the fur." You decide not to ask questions. When wood is scarce, you burn animal fat. Is it cozy? Yes. Does it smell like greasy despair? Absolutely. The moment the last stick gets tossed into the fire and you realize you still have 14 hours of darkness left, somebody sighs, digs out a lump of rendered tallow and says, "Well, this is going to be fragrant." You melt the fat in a crude stone bowl, and as it warms, it releases an aroma best described as barbecue gone through a midlife crisis. It is thick, smoky, slightly haunting, like the ghost of a steak that died confused. Still, when you drip a braided sinew wick into it and light the whole mess, the cave becomes bathed in a warm, flickering glow that can only be called magical if your nose is broken. Let us talk ambiance. Firelight from fat is soft and dreamlike. Shadows paint the cave walls, dancing like prehistoric screensavers. It's cozy, romantic even until the smell slaps you. Imagine lighting a candle that whispers, "Survival, but make it pungent." You tell yourself it is fine. The wolves don't seem bothered. They lick their lips. You scoot away. The tallow lamp becomes the centerpiece of evening life, what the clan gathers around to eat. Fix tools, tell stories, and debate whose turn it is to collect more fat. The answer is always not mine. No one wants to go wring another animal like a greasy towel. Let us talk DIY. Making tallow is shockingly scientific. You chop fat from your most recent mammoth or reindeer, plop it into a clay pot and heat it until it liquefies. It bubbles ominously, spitting occasionally, like it's complaining about mortality. Eventually it settles into a clearish oil. which you pour into a container and pretend is artisanal and ethically sourced. You don't have labels, but if you did, they would say hints of smoke, sadness, and slight digestive regret. Then comes the wick. You twist sinew or plant fibers together until they resemble something thread-like. Sometimes you dip it in the melted fat first so it absorbs well. Sometimes you skip that step and pretend you're a fine lighting it 40 times before it catches. Either way, you end up smelling like you've been slow roasted. Let's talk fragrance notes. The tallow candle has top notes of half-finished stew, wet dog in moonlight, emotional exhaustion. Mid-notes include scorched regret, wool sweater in a sauna-based notes, burnt hair, and destiny. No matter how long it burns, the scent stays loyal, punching your nostrils gently but consistently. You start associating it with comfort, storytelling, and not freezing to death. Over time, your brain tricks you into thinking, this isn't so bad. And that's how Stockholm Syndrome begins. Let's talk uses. The lamp isn't just for lighting. The fat can also be smeared on hides to waterproof them poorly. Used as emergency snack fuel, terrible choice. Or rubbed on skin to block wind, you become a walking candle. Nobody can sneak up on you because you smell like a deli that exploded. The light is dim but dependable. You work by it, patching furs and tools, scraping hides, tying spears. You lean in close, squinting because the flame is about as bright as a disappointed father. Still better than total darkness, where saber-toothed cats lurk and your imagination is worse. Let's talk safety. Of course it's dangerous. It is a bowl of liquid fat holding fire. It tips over constantly. People kick it accidentally. Someone once sat on one. You do not sleep with the lamp lit unless you enjoy waking up inside a flaming burrito made of furs. Every night the elder does a ceremonial extinguish, blowing it out with a very controlled puff and a whispered prayer that the smoke won't attract ghosts. Let's talk portability. Some enterprising genius invented a portable fat lamp, basically a stone cup tied to a stick. You walk around camp like a prehistoric birthday cake, dripping grease everywhere and occasionally catching your hair on fire. But wow, the convenience. Bedroom lighting, bathroom lighting, the bushes, hallway lighting, the tundra, all in one. Let us talk fire politics. The lamp belongs to everyone, so does the fat. But not really. If you contributed the fat, you insist on sitting closest. If someone tries to hog the light, they get passive-aggressively bumped with a shoulder or elbow until they move. The lamp becomes a social event, everyone crowding around it, complaining about it, loving it. Let us talk kids. Children stare at the flame like it's magic, which honestly it is. They try to touch it, which is not. After one burn, they learn, or they don tea. And now you know which children will not become elders. Let us talk mood. This soft flicker makes the cave glow in a comforting way. Shadows dance, stories bloom, the cold feels less murderous. The lamp transforms a bleak stone chamber into a home. You tell tales of mammoth hunts, stargazing, and that time Grohl got his head stuck in a ribcage for 3 hours. The wolves curl up, snoring lightly. The kids snooze. Adults speak softly, grateful to see one another's faces. Let's talk modern comparison. Think Yankee Candle if the scent was savory corpse, with notes of smoky hope. Or scented wax melts titled Warm Meat Evening Tusky, Afterglow, Depression on Ice. This is survival ambience. Cozy gloom. Aromatherapy from a time when therapy was done to die. Let's talk gratitude. As night deepens, you watch the fat lamp flicker, its flame bending in drafty breaths. It keeps you warm, lights your work, and gently whispers, "You're alive," even if you smell profoundly weird. You nestle deeper into your furs, eyelids drooping. The lamp sputters, it sighs, it dies. Darkness returns, but for a moment it felt like luxury. And in the Ice Age, that's enough. Romances mostly shivering together while exchanging grunts that loosely translate to, "You smell better than the others." In the Ice Age, dating apps don't exist unless you count making prolonged eye contact across a mammoth carcass. Courtship is subtle, awkward, and deeply focused on one thing: warmth. Emotional warmth, optional. Physical warmth, mandatory. You begin your romantic journey in the communal snuggle pile, where intimacy is inevitable because elbows happen. You scoot closer to someone who seems promising, not too smelly, not too sweaty, and only mildly likely to drool. They grunt a greeting. You grunt back. Sparks fly. Or maybe that's the fire popping. Hard to tell. Let's talk flirting. Flirting is simple. Share your pelt. Offer a warm rock. Don tea-fart directly on them that sell it. Offer someone a hot stone wrapped in hide, and you've basically proposed. They cradle it, glance at you shyly, and suddenly you are spiritually married. The clan pretends not to notice, but everyone absolutely notices. There is gossip, so much gossip. If you really like someone, you might bring them a particularly nice root. Maybe even a berry you're fairly confident isn't a poison. You watch them nibble it with mild horror, hoping it impresses instead of erases. If they survive, that S-romance. If they smile afterward, that S-love. Let's talk body language. Modern humans use words. Cavemen use noises. You start with low grunts. Hi. Nice fur. Is that mammoth blood or fashion? If things go well, you progress to chest puffing, which shows strength and lung capacity. If both of you puff, congratulations, you're compatible and only slightly ridiculous. For advanced flirting, you brush snow from their shoulders. You hold their hand near the fire. You make room for them in the snuggle pile without pushing your cousin off the warmest spot. This is sacrifice, and they know it. Let S talk dates. A date is mostly a walk while poking at bushes to see what S edible. You stroll the tundra, pointing out animal tracks and pretending you're an expert. Your companion nods like they don't notice you're guessing. You split a route. You take turns throwing rocks at targets. Someone falls and laughs. Someone else falls and cries. Both are romantic. If you are lucky, you find a patch of edible leaves, sit together, and eat in cozy silence. Then you hurry back to camp before wolves decide to crash your date and turn it into a documentary. Let S talk jealousy. The snuggle pile is a battleground. Everyone wants the warmest partners. If someone snuggles with your favorite person, you don't yell, you just scoot closer and establish dominance by radiating confidence and slightly more heat. If that fails, you bring a bigger pelt. Romance is war. Occasionally, two people fall for the same snuggler. They settle the matter through a wrestling match that looks like two walruses having an argument in slow motion. The winner gets first snuggle rights. The loser gets edge position and frostbite. Harsh, but fair. Let S talk gift giving. Gifts are practical. A bone tool, a necklace of teeth, a perfectly round stone. The round stone is especially romantic. Someone spent time finding it. It says, I care, and also, look, a rock. If your beloved keeps your gifts, your hearts are aligned. If they re-gift your rock, it is over. Let us talk in-laws. If you bond with someone, you bond with their family, which means more people to snuggle with, and more opinions about your foot hygiene. Their parents examine your pelts. Their siblings judge your spear throwing. If you pass, you are invited to dinner. Dinner is mammoth stew, moss soup, or we were still chewing last night's leftovers. You pretend it is delicious. Let's talk commitments. There is no wedding ceremony. Commitment is shown through consistency, hunting together, sharing food, guarding each other as sleep, letting them stick their freezing toes under your thigh. If you survive a winter together without trying to trade them for a warmer wolf, that's true love. Let's talk heartbreak. Sometimes relationships fizzle. Maybe they hog pellets. Maybe they snore. Maybe they throw all the good roots into the fire for fun. Whatever the reason, you grunt your goodbyes and shuffle to another part of the snuggle pile. The wolves hover sympathetically, tails wagging. They understand heartbreak. They also understand bones, so they bring you one. You cry. You chew it anyway. Let's talk intimacy. Forget candlelit baths, you have tallow lamps and melting snow. You cuddle beneath furs so thick you can see each other. You whisper sweet sounds. Your breath isn't too foggy tonight. You smell less like dead yak. I share my heated stone with you. Your hearts pound not metaphorically. You're both freezing. But the feeling is real. Cozy. Close. Perfectly imperfect. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine dating in a world where there are no texts, flowers, or restaurants, just fire, furs, and fear. No one worries about commitment issues. Everyone worries about freezing to death. Priorities. And yet it is sweet. It is simple. It is survival plus affection. Let us talk lasting love. The couples who manage to thrive become legends. They hunt side by side, raise children who inherit their best furs, and argue only occasionally about who forgot to dry the shoes. Their love survives storms, hunger, and questionable berries. At night, you drift into sleep wrapped around your partner, your heat and theirs merging. Outside, wind howls. Wolves guard the camp. The fire flickers low. You shiver less because someone chose you, and you chose them in a world where warmth is everything. Toothbrushes don't exist, so you chew sticks and hope your dentist, also non-existent, approves. Honestly, the whole dental plan is don to die before your molars give up. In the morning, you run your tongue over your teeth and immediately regret it. There's a texture, a mystery. You shrug. There are bigger problems like staying alive through the afternoon. Let us talk routine. Step 1. Find a stick, preferably not one covered in bugs. Step 2. Chew it until it frays into a fuzzy cleaning brush. Step 3. Spend 3 minutes vigorously nibbling while praying the fibers. Don't just wedge more food between your teeth. Congratulations, you've brushed. It feels like a woodpecker is doing light dentistry in your mouth. You spit out bark bits, blood, and maybe some leftover mammoth. Your teeth feel not clean, exactly, but less angry. That's a win. Let us talk toothpaste. There is none. You might rub ash on your teeth, which feels like gritty sadness and tastes like expired hope. Or you chew mint-like herbs when you can find them. Most often, you settle for rinsing with cold water and pretending it made a difference. You ask an elder for advice. They grin. Their smile is a chaotic mosaic of missing, chipped, and suspiciously pointy teeth. They say, chew more bones. You thank them. You chew more bones. It feels like trying to floss with gravel. Let's talk floss. There is no floss. There is only sticking your finger in your mouth and poking around until something dislodges. If that fails, use a thin bone shard. Yes, it cuts your gums. Yes, it hurts. Yes, you continue anyway because that piece of giant root is wedged in there like it is paying rent. Let us talk diet damage. You're chewing on things modern humans would classify as assault weapons. Raw roots, frozen sinew, semi-cooked mammoth. Occasionally an unidentified plant that you hope is a vegetable. Your teeth grind all day like tiny millstones trying their best. Hot food? Rare. Soft food? A myth. Everything here is chew, chew, chew until your jaw feels like it hosted CrossFit. Let us talk cavities. Do you get cavities? Yes. What happens to them? Screaming mostly. There's no filling. You might press warm stones to your cheek, But that's like putting a sticker on a tornado. Sometimes someone suggests gently tapping the problem tooth with a rock. This usually ends with two problems: the original toothache, new tooth fragments. Another option, yanking it out with a bone hook. The entire clan holds you down while two people pull. You scream. Wolves howl in sympathy. Eventually the tooth pops, someone cheers, and you spend a week drinking broth and questioning your life choices. Let us talk mouthwash. Snow. You pack it into your cheeks like a squirrel and swish until everything is numb. It works. You lose sensation in your entire face. You can feel pain or happiness, but your breath still smells like you ate a wet rug. Let's talk bad breath. Everyone has it. No one cares. There's no Altoids, no gum, just the faint lingering odour of raw reindeer and guilt. Romance survives anyway, because everyone smells equally terrible. Love is democratic. Let us talk elders. Somehow a few people make it to old age with intact teeth. They are admired, feared, and assumed to have made a pact with spirits. They gnaw on mammoth jerky like it's pudding. You stare amazed. Then they reveal the secret. Don T chew rocks. You nod. You immediately chew a rock. Let us talk kids. Their teeth are perfect, tiny, white, adorable. Their diet of mushy berries and soft shoots keeps them fresh. Then adulthood hits, and suddenly they are grinding frozen yak steak like they owe it money. Childhood ends when your first molar cracks. Let's talk tools. Bone scrapers double as dental picks. They're not sharp, just pointy enough to make your gums bleed in ways you pretend are helpful. You scrape. You taste iron. Someone says, "Looks cleaner." You decide to believe them. Let's talk superstition. Some clans believe tooth pain is caused by tiny cave spirits gnawing inside your mouth. The treatment? To scare them, rub fat on your jaw, yell at a river. Shockingly, none of these work, but yelling feels cathartic. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine brushing your teeth with a twig while a wolf watches. Imagine flossing with a bone shard while sitting inside a cave that smells like curdled mammoth soup. Imagine a dentist whose only tool is a hammer. That's your life, and honestly, somehow it is fine. Your teeth hurt, but so does everything. Pain becomes a familiar roommate, annoying but predictable. You chew roots slowly, savouring the crunch. You pray your molars last another season. Let's talk gratitude. After a long day gnawing frozen meat, you lie down beside the fire, tongue aching, gums throbbing. But you smile anyway. You're alive. You can chew. Sort of. Tomorrow you'll find another stick. You'll gnaw it thoughtfully. And maybe your teeth will remain in your head. If not, there's always the rock. The kids run around near fires, pet wolves, and occasionally lick ice for fun. Somehow, they survive. In fact, they thrive, powered by boundless energy, questionable instincts, and a complete disregard for personal safety. They are small hurricanes wrapped in fur scraps, fueled by roots, snow, and sheer audacity. You wake up to the sound of shrieking, not danger shrieking, fun shrieking. The children has once again discovered that frozen mammoth dung makes an excellent sled. They're sliding down a snowy slope, laughing while adults collectively pretend not to see. Because if you intervene every time a kid might die, you'll never get anything done. Let's talk playtime. Caveman kids don't have toys. They have rocks, favourite. Sticks, second favourite. Smaller rocks, elite tier. They use these tools to build pretend caves, smash pretend caves, hit each other gently, then less gently. They giggle through all of it. Childhood is apparently impervious to logic. Their games are simple. Tag, for example, is played at full sprint across icy terrain while wolves watch, tails wagging, vaguely interested in participating. Hide and seek is terrifyingly effective because caves are dark, and sometimes a hiding spot is a bear den. If you find the child later that day, you celebrate. If not, well, the bear needed a snack. Let S talk supervision. There is none. Adults are busy doing survival, which is a full-time job. Children are expected to not die. If they succeed, great. If not, more soup for everyone else. But somehow, most do manage fine because kids bounce. They fall off rocks, roll down hills, and occasionally get kicked by herbivores. They shrug, they get up, they run again. Their bones are made of optimism and cartilage. Let S talk learning. Education is hands-on. You learn by watching adults and then immediately attempting whatever they're doing, only worse. Dad chips stone tools, you chip your finger. Mum gathers berries, you gather poison. Mum looks horrified. You smile, spit, and vow to try again tomorrow. Children absorb skills fast, mostly by accident. A toddler picks up a spear to imitate hunting and accidentally invents lacrosse. Another kid tosses firewood into the flames and invents pizza. If pizza were just hot bark, let us talk wolves. Kids treat wolves like living plush toys. They ride them, hug them, and occasionally stick things in their ears. The wolves tolerate this with saint-like patience, or maybe they are just planning revenge. But this early relationship is the foundation of dog domestication, aka the moment humanity collectively said, "Wouldn't it be great if this predator was my roommate?" The kids love it. Adults encourage it, because warm wolves make warm children, and warm children are less likely to become frozen art installations. Let S talk chores. Children help in theory. In practice, they carry sticks, drop sticks, get distracted by snow, eat the snow, bring back one stick and declare victory. Adults nod and say, "Good job," because the emotional reward system is still being prototyped. Older kids are more useful. They gather firewood, carry small game, and serve as human alarms. When they hear something suspicious, they scream loudly enough to startle predators, prey, and occasionally their own bowels. Let's talk language. Children communicate with a mix of yelps, grunts, creative gestures. They pick up vocabulary quickly, especially important words like fire cold, mammoth poop, frequent usage. They also invent slang that elders don't understand. Caveman teens probably had trendy phrases like snow chill bro or eat root, stay warm, let S talk danger, everything is dangerous, fire, hot, ice, slippery, mammoth, murder beast, rocks, gravity enhanced. Yet children treat danger as a playground. They poke ice patches with sticks. They sneak too close to saber-toothed cats because kitty. Adults pull them away. Children make offended noises. Kids learn to respect the world only through experience, usually painful, occasionally scarring, always educational. Let EN talk meals. Kids eat like gremlins. They gnaw on roots, share scraps with wolves, and occasionally lick raw bone marrow straight from the source. If someone drops food, children teleport, snatching it mid-air with reflexes that imply secret training. They are also picky. One kid refuses roots unless they resemble mammoth toenails. Another will not eat berries unless smashed into cave wall paste. Adults shrug. Calories are calories. Let S talk family life. The cave is noisy. Children squeal, sing, and attempt to invent percussion by banging rocks together. The resulting concert is avant-garde and migraine-inducing. No one sleeps until the kids do, and they never do. Bedtime is a lie. You tuck them into the snuggle pile. They emerge minutes later, wandering aimlessly, stepping on faces. Eventually exhaustion wins. A child falls asleep upside down, half buried under pelts, drooling on a wolf. The wolf sighs but lets it happen. Let's talk rites of passage. Becoming an adult is less about age and more about competence. You're a grown once you. Hunt something that doesn't hunt you back. Make fire without burning off hair. Identify 3 edible plants with only mild poisoning. Once you achieve this, you're officially an adult. You get a spear and all the responsibility that comes with maybe surviving another winter. Let's talk modern comparison. Think of modern kids hopped up on sugar and Wi-Fi. Now remove the sugar. Remove the Wi-Fi. Add hunger, wolves, and a casual acceptance of bone tools. That's caveman childhood. And yet they re-happy. They run free. They laugh. They learn by doing, failing, trying again. Let's talk gratitude. As you watch the children collapse into sleep, you realize something magical. Even in an ice age full of teeth, cold and confusion, joy survives. Tiny feet kick in dreams. Wolves snore beside them. The fire crackles low, and the cave grows quiet. Tomorrow the chaos begins again, and somehow you're looking forward to it. You waddle through waist-deep snow because the clan heard rumors of slightly less awful weather. Your primitive Fitbit screams. It is just a pebble tied to your wrist, but you swear it judges you. Each step feels like pushing through a frosty swamp made of shaved ice, powdered misery, and your own questionable decisions. Let's talk preparation. Travel day begins with someone announcing, "Too cold here. Maybe warmer there." No one asks where there is. No one demands evidence. Everyone simply shrugs, bundles up, and follows. Hope is a powerful motivator second only to fear of freezing into a snow statue that future archaeologists will misinterpret as mid-dab. Getting dressed involves wrapping every part of your body in fur until you look like an ambulatory yak. Your feet vanish under layers of hide and moss footwear. Your hands get shoved into mitts so bulky you can no longer pick up anything smaller than a mammoth femur. You lose all dexterity but gain the emotional comfort of knowing you'll die warmish. Let's talk first steps. The snow greets you with a cold hug and immediately climbs up your legs like it wants a piggyback ride. You sink and sink. Your clan pulls you out while you pretend it was intentional, but it keeps happening because you weigh less than the furs you're wearing and more than all your regrets combined. Progress is measured in inches per hour. Occasionally someone tries a shortcut, stepping onto what looks like solid snow, only to disappear into a hole with a shriek that translates to, "I have made a terrible choice." Everyone gathers around, pokes them with sticks, and eventually drags them back out like a frozen carrot. Let us talk cardio. Walking feels like performing squats in quicksand while wearing 2 sleeping bags and carrying an unconscious reindeer. Your thighs scream. Your calves attempt to unionize. Your lungs burn from sucking in air so cold it's basically weaponized. Every breath feels like inhaling tiny icicles sharpened by someone who hates you personally. But still you walk. Because the alternative is staying behind and becoming a historical footnote titled "Person Who Froze Because They Were Tired." Let us talk strategy. Traveling in snow requires technique. Lift your knees as high as possible. Plant your foot straight down. Pray. The first person in line, the trailbreaker, does all the hard work stomping a path. Everyone behind just waddles in their footprints like sleepy penguins. It is a coveted position, second or third in line, but no one volunteers to go first unless bribed with promises of extra mammoth jerky or flirtatious grunts from their crush. Sometimes the group ties ropes around each other in case someone falls into a hidden crevasse. You imagine yourselves like a heroic chain. In reality, you all fall together like a chain of fools auditioning for a very cold slapstick comedy. Let us talk wildlife. Along the way, you see animals, woolly rhinos minding their business, mammoths judging you, wolves creepily tailing the group like they're waiting for Yelp reviews before committing. Usually, predators leave you alone because you look like a hairy potato. But occasionally, a curious saber-tooth wanders too close. You try to look intimidating. You fail. The cat yawns and walks off, unimpressed by your desperate waving and muffled screams. Let's talk conversation. Talking on the trail is simple because vocabulary shrinks with temperature. Most discussions sound like cold, yes, regret, yes. Occasionally someone starts a story, but speaking through multiple fur layers turns everything into which could be about mammoths, breakfast, or existential dread. Everyone nods like they understand. Let's talk navigation. There are no maps, only vibes. When the sky turns grey, always, you rely on landmarks. A weird rock, a crooked tree, a mammoth skeleton that looks vaguely like your uncle. Sometimes you follow animal tracks, figuring they lead somewhere livable. Sometimes they lead to a wolf den. Surprise is part of the fun. At night, you build emergency shelters by scooping snow and piling hides over sticks. It is cozy in the way a coffin is cozy, intimate, dark, slightly horrifying. You huddle together and whisper, "Why are we doing this again?" Tradition, curiosity, maybe the vague promise of berries. You fall asleep dreaming of heated floors and sandals. Let S talk hunger. Travel burns calories like a prehistoric Peloton session, designed by someone who hates joy. You chew strips of frozen meat that taste like shoe leather dipped in glacier water. Sometimes you suck on snow to hydrate. Sometimes you accidentally eat a bug. It offers protein and profound emotional damage. Let S talk gear failure. Halfway through the journey, someone's boot falls apart. The clan stops to rewrap their feet with fresh hides. Someone else tears their leg covering and must patch it with spare fur, which looks less like a repair and more like they taped a squirrel to their thigh. It works. Mostly. Heated stones help if you remember to heat them. If not, your pockets simply carry cold rocks for emotional support. Let S talk victory. After hours, maybe days, you arrive. Is it warmer? No, exactly the same. But the snowdrifts here are slightly less murderous, and there might be new roots to eat that don't taste like sadness. You call it a win. Someone collapses. Someone else immediately suggests migrating again. They are shunned. Let us talk modern comparison. Imagine trudging through a blizzard while wearing 6 coats, 3 blankets, and a tent as pants just to reach a Starbucks that might not exist. Then imagine doing that without coffee, or roads, or shoes that have a concept of waterproofing. That's Ice Age travel. Every step is a gamble, every breath is a dare, every day is leg day. Let's talk gratitude. As you collapse in the new camp, thighs trembling, lungs wheezing, you realize something. You made it. Together. Snow may be unforgiving, but so are you. And tomorrow, when your legs work again, you'll waddle onward toward warmth, hope, or at least a place where the snow is only knee-deep. A huge striped feline stalks the camp. Its fur is sleek, its muscles ripple, and its fangs say, "Good evening. I will be your nightmare tonight." You freeze partly from terror, partly because it is negative a million degrees outside, and slowly realize you are sharing the Ice Age with nature's most enthusiastic throat collector. The saber-tooth is gorgeous. Like a house cat if a house cat could bench press you and then floss with your femur. It moves silently, paws pressing into the snow without a sound. Even the wind respects its dramatic entrance, pausing to whisper, "Good luck, buddy. Let's talk first impressions." The cat sees you, eyes bright like polished amber. Its teeth, 2 elegant daggers, hang from its mouth like they were designed by a vengeful jeweler. It assesses you the way you might assess a questionable gas station hot dog. Curious, tempted, but wary it might bite back. You don't move. You don't breathe. You pray your fur layers mask the smell of panic. Let's talk etiquette. If you encounter a saber-tooth, correct protocol is avoid eye contact, do not run. Pretend to be unappetizing. This is difficult because it stares directly into your soul. Running is your family's favorite activity. You are basically walking jerky. You slowly adopt the classic caveman defensive posture. Hands up, face neutral, brain screaming. Let's talk hunting. Saber-tooth's hunting bursts fast, furious, and theatrical. They're the Broadway performers of predation, leaping onto prey with flair. They use their long fangs not to rip meat like knives, but to puncture vulnerable areas, usually necks. Efficient, horrifying, a little showy. They mostly hunt large animals like bison or young mammoth. That said, humans are absolutely on the menu. You are not a preferred entree, more like an appetizer, or what they grab when the restaurant kitchen is closing and they don't feel like hunting a whole mammoth. Let's talk coexistence. Your clan has developed a healthy respect for these murder cats. They keep their distance. You keep yours. Sometimes they stroll by like judgmental neighbors inspecting your lawn. You nod politely. They squint suspiciously. Everyone pretends everything is fine. When a saber-tooth lingers near camp, the clan takes it seriously. People whisper. Children are scooped up like footballs. Wolves tense up, tails low, suddenly remembering they are not top dog. Let us talk home security. You fortify camp by placing burning branches at the perimeter. Fire scares most predators, saber-tooths included, though occasionally one gets brave and prowls closer. You watch it weave between flames like a dancer performing the world's deadliest ballet. And you wonder if you should upgrade your security system to several mammoths, holding spears. You also create bone fences, spiky barricades that look like a porcupine in a midlife crisis. They're not foolproof, but they make saber-tooths reconsider, or at least slow down their killing spree so you have time to shriek. Let's talk saber-tooth roar. It is not a roar. It is a low, deep rumble that vibrates the entire cave like subwoofer bass at a prehistoric rave. Your teeth chatter not from cold, but from existential dread. Wolves immediately whimper. Children bury themselves in pelts. Adults clutch spears, which suddenly look very unimpressive. Let's talk strategies. If the cat gets too close, you form a group, spears out. Make yourselves appear big, yell intimidatingly. Unfortunately, big is hard when the animal stalking you weighs as much as a compact car and looks like it lifts rocks for fun. Your yelling sounds more like panicked gargling. Still, the cat sometimes slinks away, bored, if it doesn't let's just say you hope the afterlife is warmer. Let's talk scavenging. Sometimes saber-tooths leave scraps from their kills. After they've finished their fancy dinner, you sneak over to claim leftovers. It is a terrifying buffet. You pick through bones while constantly checking over your shoulder. If the cat comes back mid-meal, you abandon everything and sprint like you invented cardio. Let's talk admiration. Despite being your enemy, you admire them. They are strong, elegant, and efficient. They survive the same brutal cold. They raise cubs, teach them to hunt, and curl up in snowdrifts like fluffy nightmares. Sometimes you see them sunbathing on rocks, looking like prehistoric influencers posing for cave graffiti. You feel a strange kinship. You both just want warmth, food, and minimal stabbing. Though you prefer not to be the food. Let us talk cat facts. They are not tigers, they are not lions. They are their own thing. More muscled, more compact, more dramatic. Their jaws are specialized to open super wide, like they were constantly surprised. Those long fangs were for precision killing, not chewing, so they use strong neck muscles to drive them deep. Brutal, scientific, Metal. Let S talk cubs. Saber-toothed kittens are adorable round heads, big paws, tiny fangs. They tumble in snow, pounce on each other, and practice being terrifying. You want to pet one. You also want to keep both arms. Adults are always nearby, watching with the touch my child and perish stare every parent understands. Let S talk near miss. Tonight, the striped saber-tooth prowls near your firelight. It sniffs the air, tail twitching. Your heart tries to escape your chest via your throat. You grip your spear, shaking. The cat pauses, blinks, turns, walks away. Relief floods your body so fast you nearly collapse. Someone whispers, "We live another day." Someone else whispers, "Change pants." Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine taking your trash out at night and seeing a 600-pound house cat with knives for teeth staring at you like you insulted its mother. Now imagine that's normal, and instead of calling animal control, you just coexist. That's the saber-tooth, your terrifying, glamorous neighbor. Let's talk gratitude. You crawl back into the cave, trembling. The fire crackles, wolves settle, and someone hands you a warm stone to hug like an emotional support potato. Outside, the saber-tooth melts into the night silent, regal, deadly. You fall asleep knowing the world is both beautiful and horrifying, and you are still here. For now. You sharpen stone tools using techniques passed down over generations, mostly just banging rocks until they cooperate. There is no YouTube tutorial. There is only trial, error, and the creeping awareness that your fingers are dangerously close to becoming decorations. You picture your descendants holding these tools with reverence, whispering, "Grandpa was a genius," while you, here and now, are just a cold, hunched figure repeatedly muttering, "Why won't you be sharp, you stubborn pancake?" Let's talk the basics. Toolcraft begins with finding good flint. Is it shiny? Hard? Does it make a satisfying clack when you smack it against another rock? Congratulations, science. You drag it proudly back to camp, where the tool-making area looks like a quarry having an identity crisis. Bones, hides, flakes of stone everywhere. It is basically the prehistoric Home Depot, except there's no lumber aisle, no soda machines, just rock sadness, and that one guy who always licks everything to test it. You kneel, grip the flint, and pick up a hammerstone, your multi-tool, your best friend, your worst influence. You strike the flint at an angle, chipping away razor-thin flakes. This is called napping by archaeologists and aggressive rock harassment by everyone who's ever tried it. The flakes fly off beautifully except when they fly into your eye. You blink aggressively. You rub it. You swear. Someone offers moss as a bandage. You decline. Let S talk patience. Napping requires focus, precision, delicate movements. 3 seconds later, you've smashed the rock too hard, broken it in half, and are now internally screaming. A master toolmaker could make a hand axe in minutes. You? More like hours or days or never. Eventually, your knife looks less like a blade and more like a grey lumpy potato. You pretend it's what you wanted. Everyone politely nods. Let S talk materials. A well-equipped caveman worked with flint, the sharp one, chert, the slightly worse one, obsidian, the very sharp one, aka prehistoric scalpel, bone handles, hooks, vibes, antler hammer, pressure tool, fashion statement. Obsidian is so sharp it can slice skin at a molecular level. You once brushed it wrong and instantly invented the band-aid made of moss and hope. Bone tools come next, carved into awls, needles, scrapers. Is like crafting with Legos made from deceased things. Let's talk technique. Step 1. Whack flint until flakes fall off. Step 2. Whack carefully to shape edges. Step 3. Whack less with hammerstone, more with antler, pushing and nudging like you're coaching a shy hedgehog. Step 4. Sharpen the edge by pressure, flaking, snapping off microbits to get a blade so thin pigs can see their future in it. This is where most give up. Throw their blade at a tree and call it a spear. Let us talk diversity. Tools include hand axes for cutting, smashing, performing monologues, scrapers for preparing hides and ruining fingertips, spearheads for convincing mammoths to donate their meat drills, for punching holes in things not your leg burins, for carving tiny marks and occasionally art. When you are done, the tools look raw, elegant, lethal. They also look like you chose violence and geometry as your hobbies. Let us talk safety. You make these tools bare-handed beside children and wolves. OSHA would have a stroke. You sit cross-legged, shards raining around you, while toddlers wander near the impact zone with zero fear. Wolves nap nearby, dreaming of chasing flakes. You, meanwhile, are bleeding gently from 8 places and calling it fine. Let S talk handles. A stone edge is great. A stone edge attached to a stick is better. You tie blade to shaft using sinew soaked in water. As it dries, it shrinks and tightens a functional miracle, assuming it doesn't snap mid-hunt and yeet the blade into your cousin's thigh. You wrap the grip in hide. Looks cool, feels sticky, smells like regret. Let S talk testing. You test your knife by slicing meat. You smile, sharp. Then you test it on hide. You frown, less sharp. Then you test it on a tree branch. Gone. The blade snapped. Everyone sighs. You begin again. Let's talk emotional turbulence. Toolcraft is both therapy and torment. Every flake removed is a small victory. Every break is a funeral. You talk to the rocks. You encourage them. They do not care. They were older than your entire species. They have zero respect. Let S talk the masters. A few people in the clan are unbelievably good at tool making. They hold rocks like old friends, tap, tap, tapping until perfect shapes emerge. You watch in awe. Their tools glitter. Their fingers are nimble and calloused. They display spearheads like a jeweler showing engagement rings. This one took me an hour. Gorgeous bite. Razor edge. Killed 3 aurochs and a guy named Thunk. Everyone wants their tools. They trade food, hides, even snuggle privileges. Caveman capitalism. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine trying to build IKEA furniture with only a hammer and a dream. Now remove instructions. Remove the hammer. Replace it with a rock. Also, it's cold enough to freeze your eyebrows off. You are hungry. A saber-tooth is nearby. And your Allen key is a moose antler. That S toolcraft. Let S talk creativity. Sometimes tools get weird. Someone makes a double-ended scraper that does neither job well. Someone else invents a baby-sized axe that only works for ants. A third creates a tool so sharp and delicate everyone's afraid to use it. They display it on a rock shelf like ancient pottery. Look, pretty. Daunty touch. Let's talk legacy. When a tool breaks, you don't throw it away, you recycle it into something smaller. Scraper, bladelet, emergency toothpick. Generations later, archaeologists find these tool flakes and declare, clearly a sign of advanced craftsmanship, while you know the truth, panic, frustration, and an exceptionally stubborn rock. Let S talk gratitude. After hours of napping, your fingers throb, your back aches, and your brain feels like soup. But then you lift your newly finished tool. It's sharp. It is deadly. It is beautiful. You run your thumb gently along its edge, then immediately regret it because now you're bleeding again. Still, you grin. This thing will carve meat, shape wood, scrape hides, and maybe save a life. It's art. It's a survival. And it was made by your cold, clumsy hands. You hold it close, proud, then promptly lose it in the snow. Classic. Sometimes it is too cold even for cavemen. So you migrate. There's no Google Maps, no weather app, no friend texting. Hey, maybe didn't sleep outside tonight. What you do have is a bite in wind that whispers, leave or become a particularly sad ice sculpture. So the clan packs up everything, tools, furs, children, emotional baggage and heads, into the darkness like a prehistoric road trip fueled entirely by fear. Let us talk the moment. The cold becomes personal. Not polite cold, not grab a sweater cold. No, this is my eyelashes are freezing into tiny knives cold. The fire flinches, the wolves tremble, even the mammoth bones crack under the chill. The elders exchange worried glances while you stare at your toes, counting how many you'd be willing to donate to the frost gods. The answer is surprisingly high. Someone announces it's time to move. There is no debate. If you object, the wind blows through your soul and you change your mind. Let's talk packing. There are no suitcases. You bundle your life in hides and sling it over your back. Tools? Check. Mammoth jerky? Check. Children? Eventually someone remembers to grab them. Your most valuable possession, a heated rock, is carefully nestled near your chest, like a glowing emotional support potato. Everyone dresses in every single pelt they own. You transform from person to portable fur mound. You can bend your elbows, but you're warmish and stylish in a walking rug way. Let's talk leaving. You step into the night. The moon hangs pale over the snowy wasteland like a flickering streetlight in a bad neighborhood. Shadows stretch across the tundra, and every gust of wind feels like a ghost slapping you for being outside after bedtime. Your clan walks single-file elders in the middle, children guarded like clumsy, frost-bitten VIPs. Wolves circle, acting as both companions and moral support. They are like emotional service animals with teeth. Let S talk the vibes. Night migration feels like a spooky sleepover, except instead of telling ghost stories, you are the ghost story. The only sounds are snow crunching beneath your furry footbags and the occasional muffled complaint from someone whose heated stone has turned into a cold rock. You trudge onward, dreaming of warmer climates and a breakfast that doesn't involve icicles. Let us talk navigation. There is no compass. You follow the stars. Do you know what the stars mean? No, but the clan's star person claims they do. They point dramatically. That one means southish. You nod. Good enough. If clouds roll in and hide the sky, you follow the wind's direction because at this point, everything else in your life is also a guess. Let us talk danger. Night migration is risky. You can see predators. Predators can absolutely see you. You clutch your spear, scanning the shadows, hoping every shape is just a rock and not a saber-tooth, deciding if you'd make a nice midnight snack. Wolves growl occasionally at nothing, or everything. It's unclear. Either way, your anxiety level spikes. Sometimes you hear distant howling that's not from your wolves, saber-tooths maybe, or hyenas, or that one cousin who wandered off to pee and never returned. Let's talk teamwork. The group moves as one silent, shivering creature, the strongest break trail through deep snow. The mid-pack carries bundles. The rear guard watches for danger or at least pretends to while mentally drafting a will. When someone stumbles, others lift them. When someone falls asleep walking, they are nudged awake by a loving shove that could also be described as gentle assault. If a child cries, adults murmur soothing nonsense like, "Shh, not freezing is fun." Let's talk breaks. There are no breaks. Stopping means dying. You might pause to drink melted snow, chew a frozen root, or scream quietly into your pelt, but then you keep going. Your legs ache, your back aches, your soul aches. Even your heated rock has given up. Someone tries to lighten the mood by grunting a joke. It is not funny. But everyone laughs anyway because the alternative is despair. Let us talk lodgings. Eventually you find a temporary refuge, maybe a cave, maybe a rocky outcropping, maybe just a cluster of trees pretending to be a hotel. You scrape snow aside, erect hides, block wind with bones, and collapse inside. Everyone piles together, fighting for the warm middle. The cold losers on the perimeter pray for rotation that never comes. You fall asleep listening to the wind screaming like a banshee and the wolves sighing like tired parents. For a moment, you're not moving. Your toes hurt, your face hurts, your feelings hurt, but you're alive. Let's talk waking. At dawn, you rise stiff, frosted, disoriented. You look outside, still winter, still awful, but the sky is pink, which feels hopeful. You stretch your frozen joints, pack your pelts, and start walking again. Less terrible is the new goal, and you chase it with stubborn optimism. Let's talk why. Why migrate at night? Because daytime can be worse. The sun reflects off snow and roasts your eyeballs. Warmth melts the top snow layer, turning the ground into a slush pit of doom. Predators nap in daylight and wake hungry at dusk. So traveling at night keeps you cool and reduces your chance of meeting a saber-tooth brunch buffet. Also, stars are pretty. In the Ice Age, celestial beauty is free therapy. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine moving houses in the middle of the night, through a blizzard, with no car, no road, and only family optimism and one flickering candle. Now add wolves, remove pizza delivery, add the possibility of spontaneous toe loss. That's night migration. Let's talk gratitude. Eventually, the clan reaches a valley where wind softens, snow thins, and there's the faint promise of life. You sigh with relief and kiss the ground, then immediately regret it because your lips freeze to the dirt. Together, you build new fires, new shelter, new hope. You survived the night. The cold didn't win. And as you lie beneath your furs, drifting to sleep beside wolves and family, you realize home isn't a place. It's the people snoring next to you as winter tries and fails to take you. When there's nothing to kill, you draw usually the things you tried to kill. Art in the Ice Age is less creative expression and more. Please remember which end of the mammoth is dangerous. Still, the act of dipping your fingers into charcoal mush and smearing it on stone feels oddly peaceful, like journaling, but with more smoke and fewer intrusive thoughts about taxes. You duck into the painting chamber, aka a side nook that smells like damp fur, burnt bones, and the ghost of last night's stew. The air is thick with smoke from the fire outside, drifting in as if to observe. You breathe deeply and instantly regret it. The walls are your canvas. The floor is slippery. Everything is dimly lit by a flickering tallow lamp that hovers between cozy and investigative crime scene. Let's talk the process. There are no brushes, just your hands, maybe a bone, maybe some matted moss if you're feeling adventurous. Pigments come from whatever you can smash into powder. Charcoal, clay, ochre, crushed berries, mystery dust. You mix them with water, fat, or spit, producing a paste with the consistency of thick soup and the aroma of week-old mammoth. Very artisanal. You test your colour. It looks brown. You intended red. You shrug. No one here knows colour theory. You approach the wall like a nervous barista making latte art. The first stroke is shaky. You try again. Slowly, shapes emerge: wide-backed bison, woolly mammoths, antlered deer. These animals tower over you in life, but here they shrink into manageable doodles. It's your way of saying, today, mammoth. Tomorrow, slightly smaller mammoth. Let us talk symbolism. Some drawings are practical. This is the mammoth we hunted. This is where it stabbed Grok. Do not approach from this side unless you hate being alive. Other drawings are spiritual swirling lines and mysterious patterns that might represent dreams, or the stars, or somebody just having a good time with paint. The meaning is unclear. The vibes, immaculate. You draw hunters with spears, animals with movement lines, hands pressed to the wall, leaving ghostly prints. These handprints are signatures, proof of existence. I was here, they say, and also I had 5 fingers. Take that, frostbite. Let us talk teamwork. The whole clan gathers to watch kids, elders, wolves, who are confused but supportive. The elder storyteller narrates, "You draw mammoth. Mammoth see drawing. Mammoth scared. We win. Everyone nods. It sounds legit. Others join in, someone adds a deer, someone else draws a very enthusiastic horse. A third person attempts a human figure and accidentally invents the stick man. The clan reacts with reverence. Looks just like you. It does not. Let S talk mood. The painting chamber is quiet except for the scratching of bone tools against rock and the occasional grunt of satisfaction. Candlelight dances across pigments, making creatures flicker alive, moving. The walls become a safari of imagination, where animals leap eternally and hunters forever chase. For a moment, you are not cold. You are not hungry. You are an artist, hand-stained, face smudged, mind somewhere between memory and dream. Let's talk mistakes. You try shading. You fail. You try perspective. You fail harder. You draw a mammoth that looks like a giant potato with legs. Someone compliments it anyway. You blush. You accept. Art is subjective. Sometimes a careless elbow smears half the wall. You gasp. You swear. You transform the smear into a dramatic running bison. Intentional. Everyone applauds. You bow. Let's talk kids. Children love cave art. They dip both hands in paint and slap the walls like they're redecorating a kitchen. They draw wiggly lines and insist it is a saber-toothed rabbit. You nod supportively. Maybe it is. One child draws a smiling sun. Your heart melts. There is no sun smiling in the Ice Age, but the effort is touching. Let us talk risks. Paint fumes? Yes. Lightheadedness? Absolutely. Occasionally someone faints, face plants into a still wet mammoth, and becomes a permanent part of the composition. You call it mixed media. Let S talk meaning. These walls are memory. You return season after season, adding new hunts, new journeys, new handprints. Future generations will see the stories and know you lived, fought winter, fought beasts, fought boredom. They will understand. We hunted, we feared, we dreamed. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine scrapbooking, except the scrapbook is a cave, the glue is animal fat, and your stickers are depictions of giant murder cows. Or think of Instagram, except posts last 30,000 years, and your only followers are archaeologists. Let's talk completion. After hours of smearing pigments and grunting critiques, the artwork is done. The walls bloom with creatures silent, powerful, eternal. You step back. You smile. It is beautiful. It is strange. It is exactly what you meant. Evening falls. You leave the chamber, hands stained, lungs smoky, heart full. The cold waits outside, but you carry warmth now, the quiet glow of creation. You curl beneath your furs, thinking of bison and mammoths dancing on stone. Art has become your blanket, and sleep follows gently, like soft snow drifting down. Someone finishes the last snack. Accusations fly. A wolf is blamed. It was a single shriveled berry, a sad little glob halfway between fruit and mistake. But in a world where food is colder than your ex's text messages, it was treasure, a delicacy, the good snack, and now it is gone. You can practically hear the dramatic cave music swelling. Let us talk context. A single berry is not much, but in the Ice Age it is the equivalent of the last slice of cake at a birthday party, or the final fry at the bottom of the bag. Everyone saw it sitting on the communal hide plate. Everyone respected its power. Everyone secretly planned to eat it. But only one monster actually did. Let S talk suspects. The clan forms a circle of judgment. You side-eye your neighbours like it is a prehistoric courtroom drama. Was it Grog, who always has berry breath? Was it Ogre, who swore she wasn't hungry suspiciously loudly? Was it that one wolf who's been eyeballing snacks lately? He's pretending to nap, but his face screams guilt. Someone claims they saw someone take it. Someone else claims they smelled someone take it. No one knows anything. Everyone is lying. Let's talk interrogation. There is no legal system, no jury of peers, just everyone yelling over each other in rhythmic grunts, like an angry drum circle. One clan member reenacts the crime by miming the berry getting plucked and eaten. The performance is stirring, emotional, and ultimately unhelpful. Ogre begins crying. Not because she is guilty, this is just her strategy. Everyone immediately feels bad. She declares that if she had eaten it, she would have shared it. No one believes her. Someone suggests checking everyone's teeth for berry skins. This spirals into a group dental inspection that feels half medical, half cult ritual. Grok tries to chew snow to hide evidence. Everyone sees. Let's talk theories. A child suggests the berry simply vanished on its own. This is dismissed. Nothing vanishes here except hope. One elder says the spirits took it. Everyone nods thoughtfully for a moment until someone remembers that the spirits can digest berries and the fight resumes. Someone accuses you. You choke on your own spit and now look extremely guilty. You try to explain that if you'd eaten it, you'd be too ashamed to stand here. They don't buy it. You are sweating or freezing. Hard to tell. Let us talk consequences. The clan holds a vote by grunting. The loudest grunt wins. Nobody understands the results. Someone suggests punishing the wolf because he's here. He's convenient, and he can defend himself in human language. The wolf looks offended, tail tucked, but he also looks like he might actually know who did it. You try to calm everyone, suggesting that maybe it doesn't matter. Everyone gasps. They stare at you like you just told them mammoths are vegan. Let's talk escalation. Two clanmates reenact possible timelines using stones as characters. Someone builds a tiny scale model of the offense scene using bones. This becomes the most compelling piece of Ice Age theatre you've ever seen. Someone finds berry juice on the ground. Gasps. But wait, it appears to be old. Very old. It's fossilized, which is interesting but spectacularly useless. Let's talk alliances. Small groups form. Team Blame, Grok. Team Blame, Ogre. Team Blame, Wolf Team. Maybe it rolled away. Team Wolf is the loudest. Team Rolled Away has the best logic. Team Ogre has the best snacks. You join Team Ogre. Let's talk resolution. Eventually, the elder mediator, the one who smells permanently of smoke, steps forward and declares this fight pointless. He suggests letting it go because winter is trying to kill you all and unity matters more than berries. Everyone nods. The tension breaks. There is hugging. There is whimpering. Someone dramatically kisses the ground where the berry once lay. Then, moments later, a small boy coughs. A tiny berry skin falls from his mouth. Silence. He swears it was just a seed he was holding for safekeeping. No one believes him. The child is assigned extra snow gathering duty, which is basically detention, but colder. Let us talk modern comparison. Imagine coming home and discovering someone ate the last cookie you'd have been saving for emotional emergencies. Now imagine everyone lives in your house. No one has privacy, and cookies take 17 days and a small hunt to acquire. Also, the dog is a suspect. That's Ice Age snack drama. It is petty. It is ridiculous. It is sacred. Let's talk what you learned. Trust no one. Snacks are life. And wolves are suspiciously good at maintaining eye contact during interrogations. As the clan returns to normal life, there are still side-eye, still whispers, still a lingering sadness. The berry is gone, but its memory lives on in the stomach of the guilty. You curl into your fur that night, Listening to the wind howl and the wolves sigh, you vow that next time just eat the berry first. Justice is slow, hunger is faster. You lie awake wondering if that crunching noise is the wind or something with claws big enough to turn you into a warm midnight snack. The fire sputters, throwing weak light over the cave walls where bison and mammoths dance in charcoal. You stare at those drawings like they can't give you advice, but even the mammoth looks nervous. The night is very, very dark. Not my bedroom with blackout curtains. Dark, no. This is, did the sun get fired? Dark. Let's talk ambience. Outside, the wind drags itself across the tundra like a sleepy monster, groaning in low, icy notes. Snow hisses against stone. The world murmurs quiet, hostile, alive. Every sound feels personal. Even silence feels aggressive. You pull your furs tighter, trying to remember if the wolves were inside when you fell asleep or outside becoming someone else's appetizer. Let us talk sound catalogue. Crunch, rustle, crunch, crunch. Long pause. Cough? You sit up. Was that a cough? Predators don't cough. Do they? Maybe it was grok, or the wind, or a saber-tooth, clearing its throat like, just a sec, sharpening my murder teeth. You try to convince yourself it's nothing. It is absolutely something. Let S talk neighbours. There are many possibilities out there. Saber-tooth cat, the elegant executioner. Cave hyena, evil laughter, terrible dental care. Giant bear, no further explanation needed. Your cousin, sleepwalking with terrible timing. Every one of them could shred you faster than your boss deleting your vacation request. Let S talk fire. The fire is your only defense besides praying. And not even organized praying, just that frantic, desperate, emotional email you send the universe when you can to find your keys. The flames dim whenever you need them most, like they are union regulated and only work 30 of the night. You poke the coals, hoping to coax a blaze. The coals respond by sulking. You feed it some twigs. Flames flare weakly, like it's saying, I guess. Suddenly the cave feels warmer, safer, until you remember firelight also makes you extremely visible. You are a glowing burrito, and everything outside is hungry. Let's talk clan behavior. Everyone else is asleep or pretending to be. Someone snoring loudly? That's a flex. It says, I am unbothered. If the saber-tooth wants me, it can wake me like an alarm clock. A child whimpers. A mother hushes. Someone farts. Nobody judges. Warmth is warmth. The wolves shift in the corner. Their ears twitch. Their noses wrinkle. They know something. You stare at them, silently begging for clarification. They ignore you. They always ignore you until there's drama. Let's talk paranoia. You swear you hear padded footsteps circling the cave entrance. Soft. Deadly. You imagine glowing eyes peering in, pupils dilating with hunger. You imagine fangs, claws, a predator deciding which part of you is tastiest. You hope it picks your least favorite leg. You hold your spear. It is short, flimsy, made by someone who is having a bad day. Let's talk wind versus doom. Is the crunching just ice collapsing, or creature steps? At this point, you assume every noise is death. Snow shifting? Death. Wolf yawning? Death. Your stomach growling? Double death. Your anxiety whispers, you were fine. Then it whispers, you are absolutely not fine. Let us talk strategy. If danger comes, wake everyone. Form a wall of spears. Pray. Try not to be the first one eaten. The wolves perk up. Their tails stiffen. This is bad. Wolves do not waste energy unless there is trouble. Food or bees. There are no bees at night. They growl, low and steady. You feel your organs take a coffee break. Someone stirs, groggy. He reaches for his club. You think about joining him, but your legs are committed to staying under the furs. Bravery is great. Warmth is greater. The crunching gets louder, closer. Then, silence. Silence is always worse. Let's talk suspense. You wait. Seconds drag like frozen syrup. You could knit a mammoth sweater in the time this moment takes. Your heartbeat is a war drum. Every breath is shallow enough to be taxed. Then a long, resonant growl rolls across the stone entrance. It vibrates your teeth. Your skin tries to migrate off your body. Everyone is awake now. No one speaks. Even fire crackles quietly, like it doesn't want to get involved. Let S talk face off. The wolves stalk to the entrance. Their backs arch. Their teeth gleam. Their ears flatten. You shuffle beside them, holding your spear like it means something. Your breath fogs, betraying your fear. You try to glare into the dark, but mostly you just squint. The creature answers with another growl. Then footsteps retreat slow, heavy, annoyed. You exhale so hard you almost pass out. The wolves relax. The fire brightens, proud of itself. Let us talk relief. Someone jokes. Probably just a deer. Everyone laughs hollow, terrified laughter. Slowly the clan drifts back to sleep, lured by exhaustion. The wolves settle again, tails curled. You lie awake, listening, waiting. The crunching is gone. The night is still. Your brain is not. Let's talk modern comparison. Imagine lying in bed at 2 a.m., hearing a noise outside. Could be a raccoon, could be the wind, could be a murderer. Now remove doors, locks, neighborhood, electricity, and add giant murder cats. Welcome to Ice Age bedtime. Let us talk ending. Eventually you drift off, half sitting, spear digging into your ribs. Outside, the frozen world paces. Inside, the fire watches over you like a sleepy guardian. You sleep lightly, knowing tomorrow brings new dangers, new hunts, new drama, and hopefully fewer nocturnal visitors. But hey, at least it wasn't your turn to guard. You curl in a nest of furs, warmed stones, and slightly drooly wolves. As you drift to sleep, you pray no one snores aggressively enough to startle a predator. The fire pops beside you, its glow slipping across the cave walls like a lazy guardian angel made of embers and bad decisions. If that flame goes out, you might as well go lie outside and offer yourself to the nearest furry apex predator with a note that says, "Do with me what you will. I'm in cold. Let's talk setup." Bedtime in the Ice Age is not lavender candle, weighted blanket, audiobook. It is more pile of dead things, risk of hypothermia, live animal as co-sleeper. You and your clanmates arrange yourselves like an anxious human lasagna, warmest in the center, everyone else forming a perimeter of please don't let my body temperature drop below survival. Your pillow is a folded hide. Your mattress is a slightly flatter rock. Your blanket is yes. Let S talk the stone situation. Earlier tonight you warmed rocks in the fire and tucked them under bedding basically prehistoric hot water bottles, but heavier and more judgmental. When you hug one, it radiates just enough heat to make you question whether you're becoming emotionally attached. You name yours Greg. Greg listens. Greg understands. Over time, Greg cools. Greg becomes useless. Greg quietly rolls away to ruin someone else's sleep. Let talk positioning. You aim for the middle. The middle is life. The edges are where toes go to perish. But Granny got there first. Then Ogre. Then the baby. Then two wolves who don't even pay taxes. You squeeze in beside your cousin, who smells like tallow and regret, and try to pretend it's cozy instead of weirdly intimate. Let's talk soundscape. The cave is a symphony of discomfort. Fire crackling, wolves sighing, child mumbling, someone grinding their teeth like a woodpecker, and then the snoring. Snoring that sounds like a mammoth tap dancing through a nasal flute. Snoring so loud you're convinced it summons predators like some kind of cursed musical beacon. You jab the offender gently. They stop for 3 seconds, then resume louder. You consider relocating to the perimeter, but remember that S, where feet freeze and dreams go to die. Let S talk conversation. Before sleep steals you, soft whispers drift through the fur pile. Someone recounts a story about a hunt. Someone else complains about berry theft. Still unsolved justice moves slow. An elder hums, low and steady, weaving comfort through the bitter cold. It's oddly peaceful, like group therapy, but with more wolves and significantly worse hygiene. Let S talk survival. You drift towards sleep, one eye half open like a suspicious lizard. Because bedtime is not safety, it's a gamble. Will the fire survive? Will the wolves stay loyal? Will a saber-tooth stroll over for a midnight snack? You hope not. You pray not. You mentally apologize to the spirits for that time you made fun of Grok's weird fur hat. Let's talk fire maintenance. Someone is assigned the sacred duty of tending the flames overnight. This person is always slightly resentful and slightly incompetent. They promise to stay awake. They never stay awake. You know this. You accept this. Faith is all you have. The fire flickers, sparks popping like the universe blowing you tired, fiery kisses. You offer a stick and offering, a bribe, and the fire obliges, glowing a little brighter. You whisper, "Good fire," like it's a skittish horse. Let's talk warmth strategy. Heat rises, you lie low. You and the wolves press closer, sharing breath and body heat. Wolf breath smells like ancient meat and questionable decisions, but it is warm. You inhale deeply. It smells like safety and beef. Wolf paws twitch as they dream of chasing bison. You feel fur against your cheek. It is shockingly comforting. If you survive this era, you're definitely getting a dog. Let's talk dreams. Eventually, sleep claims you. Your dreams take you far from snowy plains, maybe to summer warmth, ripe berries, a world where your feet don't feel like frozen dumplings. You dream of lakes, sunshine, food that doesn't fight back. You smile unconsciously and drool on your fur. Someone drools on you. Equal trade. Let's talk interruptions. You wake briefly when someone shifts and elbows your kidney. You grunt. They grunt back, which is basically my bad in Caveman. You settle. Again. The fire still glows. The wolves still guard. The wind still howls outside like a drama queen denied attention. Let's talk modern comparison. Think camping, but with no sleeping bag, no tent, no snacks you didn't brutally murder earlier, and 100 chance something outside wants to eat you. Also, everyone cuddles for survival, not romance. It's like Airbnb if the B stood for Bone Hut, and the N stood for no refunds. Let's talk morning hope. One thought carries you into deeper sleep. If the fire holds, if the wolves don to bail, if no predator decides your clan is a buffet, then tomorrow exists. And tomorrow means warmth, hunting, belly laughs, berry politics, and maybe, just maybe, slightly fewer near-death experiences. You sigh, sinking deeper as furs and wolves and warm stones cocoon you. The cold outside growls. You ignore it. You are with family. You are with fire. You sleep and dream of a world where nights are warmer and nobody snores loudly enough to summon doom. You made it. Somehow, against every icy inconvenience and toothy neighbor, you survived a full day and night in the Ice Age. So now, as the embers fade and the wolves snore softly like furry space heaters with mild halitosis, let's bring this little adventure to a quiet landing. You've hunted mammoths the size of buses, argued over a single sad berry, and slept pressed against strangers who smelled like smoked meat and optimism. You've met majestic saber-tooths who wanted to eat you, and humble hot stones who only wanted to warm you. And through it all, you discover the unspoken truth of prehistoric life. It wasn't as glamorous, it wasn't as comfortable, but it was alive. Fiercely, stubbornly, delightfully alive. Tonight, as you tuck into your clean, non-blood-stained sheets, maybe whisper a thank you to the ancestors who made it through nights so cold their eyelashes froze into tiny spears. Because without them, you wouldn't be here enjoying central heating, fleece blankets, and the knowledge that the only thing prowling near your bed is maybe a dust bunny. And think about this. Those early humans didn't survive because they were the strongest or the smartest or had the best Wi-Fi. They survived because they adapted and because they snuggled shamelessly with anyone who could generate body heat. Survival was a group activity, and embarrassment wasn't a thing when frostbite was trying to take your toes. So now, let your breath soften. Let your modern worries thaw. Feel the warmth of your own mini fire, your lamp, your blanket, your quietly humming heater, and know you are safe. History may have been brutal, chaotic, and slightly sticky, but it also teaches us this. People are stubborn, people are hopeful, and people will always find a way, even if that way involves hugging a wolf and naming a rock Greg. Close your eyes, rest easy. You've earned the warmth.